Good morning, Midnight's Edge fans. We're here to tell you that we have so much more to offer you now at our Mixed Tees store. Not just t-shirts and hoodies, but we do have plenty of those, and new designs for that matter. You can also get mugs, and of course our brand new limited Amber Turds stained blanket. That's right, just for your bed or wherever you need it. So head on over to Mixed Tees now and get all your apparel and goodies from Midnight's Edge.
Get up, wake up, this is your final warning. It's time for Midnight Edge in the morning. The gang is ready to go and it's time for the show. It's time for Midnight Edge in the morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. Brought to you by My Sanity. I'm Tom Connors. We have Andre the Boss Man here. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I just have to point out we also have a doggy in the background.
Sadie's always ever present.
Ooh.
We have Chris Brawley here as well from Bleeding Fool. How you doing?
Hello, hello. Ding dong, the witch is officially dead, I guess. Glad to be here.
Indeed.
Yeah, who cares? Damage has already been done. How you doing, Paul? Kind of like your kidney after a night at the bar.
Yeah, that's it's true. So I mean, I don't know. I think more damage can be done.
Well, things can
Let's-
always get worse. I mean, this is the one
Don't
of the
say
things
it.
that annoy me the most is when people say, well, at least it can't get any worse. Of course it can. It can always
Hey,
get
listen,
worse.
you can buy a house in Detroit for $10. What can I say?
Star Wars is being run by the witch furry now, so let's be happy, right?
I think what's interesting, and with one of the Russo brothers defending her, which is
Of course.
fine. If you take a list the compendium of movies that she was that were hugely successful that she was involved in, there are a lot of monkeys out there saying, "Oh yeah, she just sort of carried coffee for those movies," and there's some rumors that that people have said they've been at meetings and she has offered ideas that the Spielberg and company would just sort of grimace at. But
Spielberg himself said these things.
yeah, I think he did. But notwithstanding all of that, no one really has explained the fall off, like right off a cliff, the difference between a really massive number of successes that she was tacitly associated with, and then from the J.J. Abrams, the Return of the Force or the Force Awakens on, it's just been no one talks
She-
about. No one
She's
talks
the
about that.
ultimate symbol of white women privilege, basically.
Actually, Paul, I have to correct a little bit. Because I agree, no one really talks about it. So I don't mean to correct you. That's not what I mean to say. What I mean to say is I want to add some more data points to your analysis there. Because all of her massively successful movies that she's credited, that makes her credited with being the best producer of all time, every last one of them is either directed or produced by Steven Spielberg and her husband, Frank Marshall. Now,
Right.
we have a couple of examples of movies before she took over Lucasfilm where that wasn't the case, where she produced, but they didn't. They weren't involved. Those movies would be Jurassic Park Part 3. Remember that classic? That
Oh,
beloved
yes.
classic that
I-
everyone loves?
I never saw.
Yeah,
you missed
that
my
one.
favorite one, Milk Money.
Yeah, and also she did The Last Airbender. You know, the M. Night
Oh, yeah.
Shyamalan movie based on Avatar that everyone hates.
Mm-hmm.
She did that one too. That was also one of hers.
Okay, so I mean, I think those are fair data points to add to the discussion, right?
Yeah. Data points to the discussion that, and this is what I submit, anyone who tagged along with Steven Spielberg and Frank Marshall would be considered the greatest producer of all time. Any other random woman that Frank Marshall had married, if he had gone with them instead of Kathleen Kennedy, and she had just done the same thing to help out her husband and the husband's production partner, eagerly so, would have also been considered the greatest producer of all time. She just had the dumb luck to be there and tag along for the ride. But her contributions to the greatness, non-existent to negligible.
Yeah, I've said for years she had the easiest job in Hollywood.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm still confused at her introduction into this world because there's a story that really makes no sense to me. And that is when George Lucas found out that she was fucking Frank Marshall, he was afraid that Steven Spielberg would find out, and so was she. Take that as you will.
So she who?
When Kathleen Kennedy started fucking Frank Marshall, George Lucas found out, and they were all concerned that Steven would find out. Take that from it what you will.
Okay.
Well, also remember that initially, Kathleen
get it.
Kennedy, she was the personal assistant of John Milius until Steven Spielberg hired her from John Milius. Now, why did he do that? Take it what you will, but take it the same way that you what Tom was just saying.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any secret that there's a lot of stooping in Hollywood.
Stooping and shenanigans.
Stooping and shenanigans. I mean, it's not like that's going to be a shock to anyone.
I think maybe the Amblin Entertainment after parties may have been wilder than anyone first thought.
No doubt.
I mean, obviously, the markers of her failure are centralized on the Star Wars brand, right? The Solo movie, firing Lord Miller. I would love to have seen the Lord Miller version of Solo, honestly, not the Ron Howard version. Starting up the sequel trilogy without knowing where it was going. Come on. I mean, this is your biggest brand and you don't even know where this thing's going to land. And it's almost like she's taking these parting shots on her way out. I don't know if you guys have read The Deadline or Hollywood Reporter today, but she's saying things like, Rian Johnson made a great movie, one of the best Star Wars movies made. Out of the 20 or so made, it's one of the best in her mind. And also the Waititi script, the script he's turned in is tremendous. It's great. Now, is she just paying lip service to them because she hopes to continue to work with those guys? I don't know. But the other big mistake she made was blaming the fans. The blaming of the fans. That sort of became the modus operandi for everyone to blame the toxic fandom when something isn't received with full-throated love and adoration. And the same thing happens with MCU, Star Trek, DCU, Witcher. I mean, it's just so many properties have been destroyed. And so she is the Star Wars destroyer. And there are many like her. And obviously it wasn't just her alone. It was a lot of other men and women and lesbian witches all just doing whatever she thought was the right thing to do. But I don't know that she ever had the right notion or the right thing, knew what to do. I think sometimes when people get into power, they start firing anybody that, just disagrees with them. And I think Ryan was very agreeable. And I think Lord Miller were very disagreeable. And, I'm glad she's gone, and it's been said already, but Brennan is not going to be any better. Brennan, I'm certain, is an acolyte of Kathleen Kennedy. I don't think she would announce leaving unless there were people in place to continue on her tradition.
Brennan has been personally trained by Kathleen Kennedy for years.
Yes.
Both she and Filoni have been trained for years to carry on the vision Kathleen Kennedy. So it's going to be all girl bosses all the time, and when it isn't girl boss, it's going to be lesbian space witches.
Yeah, lesbian space witches and girl bosses. So you've taken these. It's just a shame all of these boy brands have lost all their testicular fortitude, have been declawed, defanged, whatever you want to say, and to what end? I know we were going to talk about it a little bit later too, but I'm seeing videos that you guys do that get more views than the free first episode of Star Trek, Dawson's Fleet, or whatever this show is being called now.
I'm calling it Melrose Space.
There you go. I love it. I love it. It's
owe me
right
$5.
for mockery.
I adjusted it. You didn't say Melrose Space.
The fuck I didn't. Go back and rewind.
Okay.
Yes,
sorry.
I sure did.
Okay, I apologize.
I'm going to stay with Dawson's Fleet. I like that one better.
They're both good.
Yeah. But now they're only good for mockery. You know what I mean? It's like the show no longer entertains unless we're being entertained by the absurd foolishness of it. You know, I don't know. I don't think, I mean, it's great that Kathleen's finally gone, that she's losing whatever grip she still maintains. She'll maintain it through the remaining staff. The people there, she has replaced George Lucas as the head of the Star Wars brand. Lucas is, persona non grata. Maybe Filoni would, support Lucas being involved, but I don't think anybody else there will. My 2 cents.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement about that, basically.
Well, no, and I think it's hilarious about this. She can blame Star Wars fans all day long. She can piss and moan behind the scenes about this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, she screwed up her own legacy by taking this job on. She has nobody to blame but herself. At this point, had she just said, "No, I'm good, George. You're gonna have to find somebody else to do it," or "You already got Dave. Just advance Dave." She could have retired this year, known as the greatest producer of all time. But instead, she sullied her image and her legacy, basically, by doing what she's been doing the last 10 years. Instead of cutting her losses after The Last Jedi and giving this job to somebody who actually wanted it. I don't feel sorry for her. I don't.
Oh.
I think it's hilarious that somebody did that. The most successful woman in Hollywood, not only is she the most successful woman, she's the most successful producer, period. Right? She's literally in the Guinness Book of World Records. Keep that in mind. She has produced more hits than anybody else. But the big asterisk next to it is that those hits were all directed by Steven Spielberg or Robert Zemeckis. See, that's the catch. And at the end of the day, it's hilarious how you did this to yourself. I mean, you turned yourself into a fucking clown show, and if you want to back yourself up into that corner, keep going. Because at the end of the day, you did this to yourself.
I don't think
I would say
she believes she did anything. She
did the right thing. She did the right thing for the cause and for women. She's not sorry about anything. Her exit interview is very, very clear about that. That being said, though, you're right, Tom, because if she had retired 10 years ago, she would have been the greatest producer of all time, because there would be few and negligible data points to say otherwise. Unfortunately, now we know that her own devices, she failed completely and utterly miserable, as in so bad that literally any one of her here on this panel should have done a better job. Not just on this panel, any one of us here on this panel, but also out there, you in the chat, all of you watching should have done a better job managing Lucasfilm than she has done for the past decade. And this is just a simple fact, because every single creative decision she did was wrong. What happened was that she got too ambitious. She wanted she started believing in her own hype, She took on a job for which she was not at all qualified, and then she got exposed. And now what is going to happen? Now you have everyone in Hollywood. They're saying, oh, greatest producer ever. She's getting all of these accolades. They've been planning this whole thing. She's going to get all the Lifetime Achievement Awards and everything like that. But more and more people are going to say behind closed doors, boy, she really messed this up. And 10 years from now, that's all anyone is going to remember. They're not going to remember that she was the biggest producer of all time. They're going to remember her as the woman who destroyed, and also to Chris' point, not just Star Wars. She also destroyed Indiana Jones, and to the extent of which that was anything to destroy, Willow.
Yeah,
Which is funny because Indiana Jones was one of her babies in a way.
it's a shame.
But what's hilarious is that her husband, in tandem with this, has been kicking her ass with the Jurassic franchise and the Twisters. He fucking produced Twisters,
Yep.
a
So
movie that had no right to be a hit,
So
and still
Mike-
was.
Mike, that's actually has been one of my questions, is that they never talked to each other ever. He never told her that maybe this decision was a bit suspect, that perhaps, oh, I saw the footage that you showed me before dinner
Mhm.
of the Last Jedi. I think you've got some problems there, dear. They never spoke, really.
I think it shows
Honestly-
who wears the pants.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Tom's got a point. Yeah, Tom's
I
got a
think
point
so, too.
there. That's a marriage dynamic that we're not
Yeah.
familiar with. We don't know, Paul. You do have a good point. Like with my wife and I, we might be able to share and kind of commiserate on some things, and me give her some advice on how to adjust the trajectory. But there's certain marriages, which I suspect this one is, where it's probably more competitive than collaborative. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I do know that I have a rule of thumb is that I pretty much don't tell any of my jokes to Ramona.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
That's why none of them are funny, Paul. They're not stealing good material.
that being said, if there is a joke that I do tell her and she laughs, it is always 100% killer, no filler.
Yeah.
That's great.
what I think is that I think you had a nail on the head there. I think this is just my speculation. I don't know this. I don't have any kind of inside word whatsoever. But I think that their relationship and their dynamic is of such a nature that he sees everything that she's doing wrong, but he has to bite his tongue because this is about her proving herself independently of him. Because what we have heard from behind the scenes, again, we don't know the detail, this may not translate to the marriage, but that she has a giant chip on her shoulder against Lucas, against Spielberg, and probably a little bit then, if that the rest is true, against her husband, because she feels that she's been a little bit left in the shade, hasn't been given the credit that she deserves, and maybe hasn't been given the opportunities that she deserved either. I mean, for instance, she took on Jurassic Park 3 and The Last Airbender solo. Now, why would she do that without any help? Probably because she felt she had something to prove, not to the rest of the world, but to the people, to the very, very closest to her. That means that for her to feel that way, there probably is a dynamic where Frank Marshall feels that he can't give any kind of correction because she might be really, really angry. And who knows, maybe she'd walk out of the marriage. Maybe she'd expose all of the dirty secrets. I don't know.
And
It's just
honestly,
speculation.
I can see she was probably a nightmare to deal with in that respect, because if you remember one of those earlier interviews after she took over Star Wars, it was all about feminism in Hollywood.
Yeah.
She talks about like one of the early SNL shoots that she went to, and how she was just so upset that none of the camera people were women. And I'm sitting here thinking, does she realize that, hey, most women probably wouldn't want that job, and back then TV cameras were huge, and you had to be big enough to move them around.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
most-
sure. I remember.
Most women couldn't. So like, yeah, her just from the start, her whole idea of what this is, and she basically created herself. She hitched herself to these very successful men, Frank Marshall being one of them, her husband. Because make no mistake about it, go back through his filmography, and before she was involved, he actually has a few little hits in there that you could see where he became who he was. Her, it's not so much. All of a sudden, E.T. is on her list and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's like, wait a minute. She started from hitting the ground running, right? Like, this is bullshit. Like, and I've said it a million times over. It is easy as hell to be Steven Spielberg's producer. She could get the Golden Gate Bridge shut down with 2 or 3 phone calls tops, if not 1, right? Now, trying being Joe Blow Nobody's fucking producer and trying to get the Golden Gate Bridge shut down and see what happens. Right? Like, that's what I'm saying. She had the easiest fucking job in Hollywood. And she always was like, oh, woe is me. I'm a woman and I got to prove myself. Well, okay, you proved yourself right to the point where you went past it, beyond it. And now you've shown us that basically you can't handle something like this. And now people are going to probably be leery about women handling these kind of franchises in the future because of you.
You
Yeah,
can't
if
handle the
anything-
truth.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
she's
yeah.
never gonna live down the forces female crusade.
What were you going to
Ever.
say, Andre?
Yeah, no, it slipped my mind. It's not important anyway.
Oh, did I step on something, Andre? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Never mind. Never
Well,
mind.
and Filoni, like everybody, I remember for years, and Andre backed me up on this earlier by saying it. But like, yeah, for years, people are like, "Oh, Filoni's the answer. Filoni's the answer." I'm like, no, he's not. He's a yes man.
Yeah.
And we'll see at the end of the day that he is not the answer. And we got that answer with Acolyte. We didn't even have to see her get out the door before that.
Ahsoka it proves he's not the answer.
He wants
better,
to
I
fuck
think,
that
with-
girl.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he worships that. I think he's better with animation. Period.
I
All
never
his anima-
thought the animation was that great. I saw through that shit back in the day. I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys are just acting like Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not that great. It's just an extension of the fucking prequels, which were garbage. Sorry. I hate to be the fucking bearer of bad news on that
Yeah.
one, but that's just me.
Well,
Sure, there's
you're
probably
telling
some
the
great
truth.
episodes in there. Don't get me wrong. I went and wasted my fucking time to go see that Clone Wars movie in the theater. I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Fucking embarrassed to be sitting there in the theater watching this fucking movie going, is this what I've come to? I'm watching a fucking 5-year-old's TV show now? Because make no mistake about it, George Lucas is a fucking very artistic person, but he doesn't understand what made Star Wars so fucking famous at the end of the day. That's why the prequels suck. Okay? He does not get what made them famous. He thinks it's all about the ins and outs and people care about all these politics and all this other bullshit. No, we just want to see pew-pews and lightsabers. That's what we want.
Well, yeah, we want to escape. We want
We want
action, adventure.
Rancors. We want Darth Vaders. We want C-3POs.
But I think too that as we get older, we do eventually, unless it's all handled very well, like something like Andor, you're going to age out, right? So how long are you going to care about R2D2, right? How long are you going to care about baby Yodas and things like that? I mean, they continue to lean into children. And you just said it best right there with the Clone Wars and stuff like that. It's aimed at children. It's not even
And
aimed.
that was fine. That was fine, Chris. I had aged out of the franchise.
Yeah. But now anyone thinking that things are going to get any better under the new co-leadership, like you said, Filoni's not going to lead. And
Because
this
at least
Brennan-
under George, say whatever you want. At least it was still for kids.
that's absolutely right. But I'm more concerned that no one's really talking about the Lin-Wen Brennan person that's going to be your new Kathleen
Yeah,
Kennedy.
we don't know shit about her. Like, that's the thing. We can talk all day until we're blue in the face about Dave Filoni because we have at least a history to go by
Right.
with him.
You have to dig deep, but you can find her talking about how it was unacceptable that there was male dominance and gender inequality. I mean, she's been on a crusade since back in 2016. She got that Women Worth Watching award for her diversity efforts. And she came out in 2018 and was talking about visual effects, gender ratios, nowhere.
So she's Indiana Jonah in the feminist crusade.
Kind of. I mean, there's a reason why Kathleen Kennedy would choose to highlight her
Yeah.
and elevate her to higher
Oh
position.
yeah, she's a ticking
because she's
time
going
bomb.
to
You
continue
watch.
her work. Absolutely. And also kudos to Paul Chatto for finding this out when the scoop here was first released. So also kudos to Puck for getting this right again.
I'll take it when I can get it.
Yeah.
I mean, well, let's be real. This has been something that's been predicted, talked about. Hell, we even fell for some of the earlier talks about, you know, KK being out the door. And I'm not saying that there wasn't times where she was probably going to leave sooner.
Yeah,
But this
those
just
rumors might have been true, but man, those got tiresome. There's whole channels I
did.
stopped listening to because that was the only thing that they were pushing, unfortunately.
Right. And I understand that. Even people that are my friends, let's say. So like at the end of the day though, like does it really fucking matter now though? Like
Nope. No.
that's the saddest part of this whole thing is there really a redemption point? Can Star Wars be saved? I don't know.
Anything
I mean,
can
we're
be
going to talk.
saved.
Well, we're
Any-
going
any-
to talk about Star Trek here in a little bit, and people have asked. This has been probably the number one question we've gotten asked in super chats for the last 5+ years, is which one's in worse shape or which one can be saved. And honestly, this is my question: is like, do you think Kathleen Kennedy's getting out the fucking door, and is this a bad sign for Mandalorian? Because she's been told, or we've been hearing rumors that she wanted to leave on a high note, which makes absolute fucking sense. Who wouldn't, right? But at this point, is this a sign that she did not stick around the extra 6 months just to say, fuck it, I'm getting out the door before the final storm hits?
But
Because,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, because this movie might be a piece of shit, because last season of fucking the show was too. Sorry, go ahead.
To me, the big story is just the compendium of IPs that have been destroyed. I find it really curious that, and I think we can say that about the stuff that was in her hands, Indiana Jones and Star Wars. I think that those are legitimate criticisms. But look what happened to The Witcher. Look what happened to Wheel of Time. Look what happened to Tolkien, Rings of Power. Why
Everything.
Why everything?
Yeah.
This is what I don't get. You've got Game of Thrones, but the last 2 seasons of it were absolute god awful trash. So what's in the water?
Yeah.
I think that's the bigger story here, is that apart from One Piece, and they could ruin that in its sophomore year also, but I don't get it. Like, it's so strange. These massive IPs, all of them
Terminator,
trashed.
James Bond.
Yeah. Terminator.
Well, there's several layers to that, but to keep it simple and in
Yeah.
a way that's not going to get the channel shut down, let's just say that all of these things are made fundamentally in the same place, where they're all part of the same echo chamber, and they all drink the same water, or more specifically, they all drink the same Kool-Aid, like the
feminist Kool-Aid is feminist Kool-Aid, Andre?
There's definitely a strong feminist component to that Kool-Aid, yeah.
That's one of the
I mean,
options. I don't think Doctor Who got killed by feminism so much as just general woke. I think it's just a general woke attitude. It's like you come into a franchise and you say, what is wrong with this franchise? What is wrong with James Bond? And then you bring in Phoebe Waller-Bridge to soften his edges and make him less misogynistic, right? And I think that happens across the board. Doctor Who, why hasn't there been a female Doctor Who yet? Why hasn't there been a gay Doctor Who yet?
But
Or
what
black for that matter. But
you can
black,
have a female. You can have a female. Your first female Doctor Who should have been Emma Peel. I'm
Bingo.
sorry. Then it would work. Like, for crying, why a bag lady? Like, this is it.
Well,
makes no sense.
We're talking about something though that's kind of like, I mean, in this
Doctor Who's a good
autopsy
example.
here, like this is another bullet, but it's not the bullet that I think killed the patient, right? Like I think that in this case we're looking at another symptom of the problem at hand here. Is this all boils down to the core of, because it's one thing to be woke, right? Because I've seen plenty of movies
Sure.
and TV shows in the last 10, 15, 20 years that were, looking back on them going, oh, that would be classified as
Yeah.
woke now, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. And that's something we keep forgetting. Is it something and still be technically fall into that category and still be good? See, the bigger problem here is that they've gotten lazy, complacent, and they forgot how to make good entertainment in Hollywood, right? Like just anything.
Well, I
don't know what the fuck
can
happened.
pinpoint it. I'm pinpointing it in my latest review of the Star Trek Academy, Melrose Space, and that is that modern stories are about the people and not concentrating on what they do. That the original stories were about what they did, not who they were. we would slowly learn about who they were over time, but that wasn't the reason for the stories. That's what's killed it. Now everyone is talking about who they are. I don't care about who they are. You are what you do, and then slowly it leaks out who you are.
Yeah.
That's what's been killed. That's the complete flip of the script.
Yeah, keep all that in the novels, right? If I need to know a little bit more about your motivations,
Yeah.
but if you're going to put it on the big silver screen, I want adventure, action, the story, intrigue, the mystery. What's happening?
And the irony is that it's way more powerful to have a bunch of dudes on a submarine, and someone talked about this, I think, at our other show, where their relationship is tenuous, and you can just tell it by the curtness in the way they speak to each other or the way they react to each other's orders. And that's all you need. You don't need to have this emotional explosion.
Yeah.
It's way more interesting when you keep that as a boil in the backstory. They just don't do that anymore. They don't give us a backstory. They actually tell us the backstory.
Right.
You know what you just described, Paul? I've been watching The Sopranos for the first time. That's every show,
Yeah.
right? It feels like a TV show, and it's so
Yeah.
refreshing, even though it has this continuing story
Of the psychology. Yeah. Yeah.
and it's all there. But like at every episode, it's like, I feel like you got all those things you just explained, and it's not even like there's specific episodes where I can pinpoint and go, oh, this is better than that episode, or this is this great storyline, or this was so like it subverted my expectations, or anything like that. Like 9 times out of 10, just about everything that I expect to happen in the show happens.
Right.
But that's not the problem. It's the way it's told to me, right? It's the way it's presented. And that's the thing is Star Wars could have been great for the longest time. I don't understand why they needed to do this to not just Star Wars, but every franchise in it. And we've talked about this ad nausea. And it has to do with this whole idea that they feel like, you know, they could have expanded their audience somehow without alienating the old one, which is fucking asinine for me. With Kathleen Kennedy, though, this is why she's such a poster child of this whole thing, and why she's such a big deal with this whole thing. It's because she went beyond this idea of just trying to make things, you know, equal or make it like she was like one of the people that was at the forefront of this shit, trying to make this shit happen, right? If there's probably a patient zero for this, she is one of them, if not the one, I would have to say, because she's been saying these kind of things for years, and you could tell this is some deep rooted shit inside of her that she had to get out some way, somehow, and she felt Star Wars was the right place to do it, right? Like, I don't know why. I mean, honestly, the Jurassic Park franchise would have been the better place for her pro-feminist bullshit, to be honest with you. I mean, there's a bunch of fucking dinosaurs running around that are women. I mean, come on. But anyhow, I don't know. Like, I don't know how much more we can beat this dead drum. I wish I could be happier for this. I thought about this day for how many years, and I thought we'd all be celebrating and whatever. But it's like, what are we celebrating?
Yes.
What is there
Right.
to celebrate? Like the body's already dead. You know, this is just basically like, this doesn't even feel like Sweet Revenge. Sweet Revenge would have been happening to her right after the rise of Palpatine.
It feels like a movie scene where someone is leaving a car that's been crashed into a tree.
Yeah.
They've taken their cigarette, they've tossed it behind them, the car explodes, and they pass a person where they pull out the car keys and just toss it to them
Yep.
and
There
say,
you go.
it's now yours.
Yep.
That's the vision I have.
Her journey
Well-
into retirement is lit by the flaming husks behind her.
I got the
Well,
cigar.
yeah, we said many a time. She said she was going to burn the fucking place down on her way out the door.
Yep.
That was something we've heard I don't know how many times.
I mean,
a few.
it
And
could
that's
be.
exactly what happened.
I think it could be salvaged, but it's going to take years and probably a rest. is what
Now,
I think.
That being said, I have not heard, now you can correct me, I've not heard any kind of rumors in terms of her being a mean or vindictive individual or yelling on set. I've not heard anyone say that she wasn't a good individual.
Well, she's never on set. That would be why.
Oh, I'm sure
No,
she
I
would
mean,
have
I've never
over-
really heard any tyrannical stories
No.
or write about that. But at the same time, somebody that powerful is powerful enough to squash that shit.
Stuff like that comes out though. And we've
I hear
heard
you,
nothing.
but I'm willing to believe
I'm
what
just saying
Andre
that.
said, and that is because that was something I had heard fairly early-ish on. is that she kind of was like a satellite parent more than a helicopter parent when it came to Star Wars. It's like she would just show up periodically, and that's kind of how I was under the impression when I talked to Clint Howard, how they got into 88 days into Solo before she finally pulled the plug. And I guess it was an endless, people were like freaking out going, you're going to have to fix this. You're going to have to fix this. You're going to have to fix this. They're making this into like 21 Jump Street is basically what we kept hearing. And when he came in, of course, you know, after the fact, he said that when he came on the set, they were all like, everybody was cheering and happy that Ron Howard was directing and all this kind of shit. I don't know how accurate that is, but at the end of the day, to me, it just sounds like she has the worst. She does not pair people well with the right projects, it sounds like, because she's had this issue since day one with J.J. Abrams, because that one was the only one that made sense on paper.
Yeah.
Right? When you step back and look at it, everybody's like, is everybody, and I mean everybody, even the guys over at RLM were saying this is the guy that should be directing Star Wars. And if he had a good script, I don't think, and if you gave him the entire trilogy and gave him a pre-written script, I honestly think that the Star Wars, and we've all said this, I think that the Star Wars sequel trilogy would have been fine.
Yeah.
Would it have been great? No, but it would have been just fine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you had her trying to inject this bullshit. And then you had Bob Iger, on the other hand, who cannot let off the hook on this, guys. We cannot forget
No, we can't.
that he played his role in this too. Because George Lucas, and this is the best part about it, is had they just made what George Lucas said, then this is what makes no sense to me. Is they could have took any and all fucking blame off their shoulders and been like, guys, God wrote it himself. You can't bitch at us. Because I've seen the stuff that George was going to do, and I hate to break it to everybody. A lot of what's in The Last Jedi was what George was going to do.
Yep. But they didn't have a plan. That's the other problem. That's the other problem. They started with JJ and didn't know where they were headed.
Well,
I mean, they had a plan that was a different plan. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a plan. This is something that was mostly like retrospective. Like, oh, we didn't know. We just focused on making one great movie. And then Rian Johnson would make another great movie. That sounds so much better than saying, oh, yeah, no. Like, JJ, he had a whole outline for a trilogy, and we just scrapped it to go in a completely different direction because Kennedy just loved how Rian Johnson was into iconoclasm. So there wasn't like a script for the movies 2 and 3.
No, but there was an outline because you had
outline.
Yeah, because you had Simon Pegg and what's her face, Ray. What's her name? Her real name?
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley. Yeah, both said flat out that she was meant to be probably most likely a Kenobi.
Yep.
And that's what I've said, and I've said it a million times over, that the Star Wars trilogy, sequel trilogy, is nothing more than the world's most expensive Twitter war between directors, especially with Rise of Palpatine. Because JJ undoes every fucking thing that Ryan did to undo his movie in the last movie, calls it stupid, then goes forward to do even more stupid shit. So, like, that's what that is. And at the same time, you can kind of step back even further and look at it as the Star Wars films have been basically the most expensive Twitter war between wife and husband with Jurassic World. And at the end of the day, guess who fucking won? Even though the last 3 Jurassic Park movies are fucking horrible. They're fucking horrible. But yet people will still, I guarantee you put a gun to somebody's head, they'll watch Fallen Kingdom over The Last Jedi any day of the week. Because at least in those movies, the formula is still there. There's dinosaurs. There's still elements of Jurassic Park. And the guys who made them are still kind of hanging around. With Star Wars, you got this whole mentality. They're going in with an agenda. And that's what we've been beating around for the longest time. And it's Kathleen Kennedy's agenda. And that's why I say she's almost like a patient zero in Hollywood. And I'm not saying she's the one who came up with this, but she is one of the main pillars of this whole fucking thing. And if not the strongest pillar, because if she was anybody else, it would have been knocked down early on. And you know, goddamn well, somebody would have protected Star Wars a hell of a lot better than this. Somebody convinced Bob Iger of this, and I guarantee it was either her or somebody as powerful as her. And that's the thing. People don't realize how fucking powerful. I don't believe it was George, because George, they didn't want to listen to a fucking thing he had to say because he was the old white dude and they wanted to do the absolute opposite of anything he wanted to do.
But what I mean is maybe George said, whatever you do, Don't hire Kathleen Kennedy to
He
do
was the one who hired her. That's what makes no fucking
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
He was the man who hired the woman who stabbed him in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, though, he probably didn't know that at the time.
No.
I think that he too, at the time, bought into the hype and figured this woman, she's always been in my circle. She's gonna protect my legacy. I kind of know her, been at her house a bunch of times. So yeah, like I'd rather trust her. She's the devil I know. Boy, was he wrong.
See, and that's the thing is he didn't work with her nearly as much as Steven did. So that's the other thing I think that was a mistake.
Yeah.
The only times they worked together, as far as I know, were on the Indiana Jones films.
Oh my gosh. I mean, if it weren't bad enough for Kathleen to be at the helm, you'd bring in Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Ugh.
Yeah, and of course,
Well,
she's about
Kathleen
to
Kennedy
wipe
did
out
bring in
Raider.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah, for Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
See, now this I'd actually believe before anything is that George Lucas hired Kennedy as a big fuck you to the fans.
Maybe.
This I can believe. Because I've heard he's had this thing for the longest time where he's harbored that, you know, he's hated being saddled with Star Wars. Because that was not the director he wanted to be. Star Wars was a lark. It was meant to be a fluke. That's why it's episode 4. It wasn't meant to have an episode 5. It wasn't meant to have an episode 3. It was supposed to just be kind of like this thing that just because he made it on a challenge. I've told this story before, but I don't know if Paul's ever heard this story.
Yeah.
Tell us
George-
again.
George got lost. It was George Lucas's fault that Francis Ford Coppola not only lost his 3-picture deal with Warner Brothers, but he had to pay the money back that they had spent on THX 1138 because it bombed so badly. And him and his wife, George's wife, Marcia, had him cornered in either the office or in their kitchen. I can't remember which. And they were just chewing him out left and right. And George was just sitting there taking it. And finally it had enough because they're like, you're just a dead fish. Can you just make a normal fucking movie? Like a normal fucking movie, like a comedy or a family movie that people can watch and go see and understand. He's like, you know, something that can get some emotion out of the audience. And George said, I can get some emotion out of the audience. You just wring a cat's neck. That's what this man is. He has no emotion, like as far as a normal human being. So he took that challenge and went and wrote American Graffiti and Star Wars. American Graffiti being his comedy and Star Wars being his kids movie. That was what it was meant to be. It was just a challenge to show George that he could make an actual fucking movie and not just be a fucking tone poem. Because that's what he wanted to make. He wanted to make shit like THX 1138. He wanted to make experimental fucking, you know, weird shit.
Yeah.
He didn't
THX is
care about
okay.
Star Wars.
So THX is nothing. There's nothing great about it.
Star Wars was just supposed to be Buck Rogers
Flash
or
Gordon.
Flash Gordon or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he even tried buying the rights and he couldn't get his hands on them.
Yeah.
And he was going to make Howard the Duck for the longest time too. Some bitch bought the rights back in the 70s. I don't know why he was so obsessed with that fucking duck. But
It was a counterculture.
I love
comic
Howard the Duck.
book.
Don't get me wrong, but he is the wrong person
no.
to be making it. That's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
point.
That I don't know. You almost needed John Waters to make it.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, John Waters or somebody like that, yeah.
Wait, a bit more hip.
And get like George Carlin to do the voice or something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Lucas is not hip, and the actors all. We know the story of how he directs. He doesn't really care about the actors.
He doesn't direct.
He doesn't-
I love Carrie's story about when he lost his voice during Star Wars and nobody noticed.
Yeah, but that being said, Fuller, I saw him direct, and I was shocked at how inarticulate he was. Yet everyone, the X-Men guy,
Yeah.
I was
Brian Singer.
Brian Singer. Sorry,
I was gonna say Singer, yeah.
no Singer. That's why I mentioned the movie.
The other
just to
gay guy.
confirm. Yeah, the other gay guy, and I was shocked at how completely inarticulate he was. But somehow people understood his shorthand on his behalf because he was surrounded himself with professionals who didn't really need to know what exactly he said. they did it. Like they kind of understood
Well,
it. but-
what they didn't understand, they just did something of their own device,
Maybe.
and George Lucas, he wasn't loud enough to make them understand that's not what he wanted, and he probably figured that's better than what I wanted. So I'm just
Tom,
gonna
Tom does a
keep my
good
mouth
George
shut.
Lucas.
Faster, more intense.
Oh, that's right. I'm faster, more intense. Yeah, that's what I want.
So, anyways,
But
bless
no,
his,
and I'm not
bless his
sitting here
heart.
trying to bash on George all day long because I love him just as much as most people do. I mean, he gave us Star Wars, he gave us Willow, he gave us a lot of great things,
And
know,
a lot
he-
of games.
Well,
Great
he
games.
revolutionized special effects. I was going to say before he even got to the games part. But
I mean, I
Indeed.
played a lot of his games. I mean, these were fantastic. He just had an idea of the digital universe, and notwithstanding the fact that he invented Edit Droid, Avid editing, he invented digital editing. I mean, I got a chance to use the Edit Droid before it was killed. That was a monster machine, by the way. That was a lot of fun working on Edit Droid. But his contribution on so many levels is just fantastic. He's on that same kind of level as the Terminator guy.
Yeah, Cameron.
Cameron. It's
Yeah.
they're
Well, Cameron
compadres.
was always chasing him for years. Yeah.
Yeah, Industrial Light and Magic is probably his best contribution.
Yeah,
filmmaking.
there's
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, look, she even destroyed franchises she had no reason to destroy, like Willow. Nobody
Yeah.
even brought that up. I mean, Willow was fine as a one and done. Like even George, it wasn't good enough for him to continue on because he's like, didn't sell enough toys. That's what he's basically it was because the movie did fine. It just didn't sell
Yeah.
enough toys for him. I think the mistake there was going with Ertl for the toys, but that's a whole nother conversation to be had. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I mean, if it's not Jon Favreau or somebody like that, this is a dead duck.
Yeah.
I mean, we all predicted this is where it was going to go. And that's why I think nobody's that surprised, I guess, at the end of the day, maybe.
Don't let the good Lord hit you don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
And I'll tell you, you've seen in the last 3 years or so what Star Wars is going to be for the next few decades.
Yeah, at least. It's baked in right now.
Because Filoni is the one who's responsible for a lot of this garbage.
I mean, is she getting out before Grogu and the Mandalorian comes out,
that's what I was asking.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ahsoka season 2, I guess. What else do they have on the slate? Anything?
That
Well,
Starfighter,
they have
which
that movie. They have the Starkiller
Starfight.
movie,
That's right.
Which she did talk-
Starfighter.
she did talk a little bit about that. See, now that's the only thing I think that might actually have a chance because it doesn't feel like it has any connections with anything else. And that's what a lot of us have been saying for a while. And that's probably why Rogue One is one of the more well received because all the connections with Star Wars are basically, tangential or however you want to put it, to where it's like it's not character connected, if that makes sense. Yeah, you got cameos from like Darth Vader and stuff like that, but it's not like
That Darth Vader cameo, though, just kind of made the movie for me.
it does, but I also understand where Script Doctor and a few others have said it's kind of out of character for that point in his career, let's say. Because at that point, everybody's treating him like pieces of shit. And it's like, well, if he could do that, why didn't he just do that to the whole, like everybody, basically? It's like, you're holding back Vader or what? Like,
Yeah, you don't see that sort of fighting skill in A New Hope.
no, like him
Obi.
and like when him and Obi are going up against each other, he's like acting like this shit hurts.
Yeah, and of course, this is what George Lucas said at the time. This is something we have to keep in mind. That originally that fight was two old men fighting. Emphasis on old men. All of
Yeah,
this other stuff that's kind of like retroactive. It's not like this myth that George Lucas had the whole trilogy planned out. No, he made it up as he went along.
Yeah, even the whole sister brother thing was made up.
Yeah.
At the last
Very
minute.
obviously so.
No, the only time Vader's like under fighting or however you want to put it is during Empire where he's just toying with Luke. And that's that's not even so much a physical fight as it is an emotional fight. But anyhow, that being said, Star Wars is dead. Ding dong, the witch is gone. What else can we say?
No,
Yeah.
move on.
She dropped a house on it.
Yeah, indeed. Burnt it to the ground.
And then chased off all the Ewoks.
Mm.
Uh,
Hey, don't
At least
talk to
they-
me about Ewoks.
At least they
We haven't
blink
seen one
now.
Ewok this whole time.
It's true.
Does anybody else notice that?
Well, people
Not one
hate the Ewoks.
fucking Ewok. Where's
People hate the
Poplo?
Ewoks.
He
I'm
could've
right
been
here.
working this whole time.
I could be. I could have been engaged and cash provided
Lucasfilm checks all day long.
all day long. That's right.
Mm,
Gone,
mm, mm.
completely gone. No Paplu for me.
Let's
Damn
see
it.
what's going on in the chat. Dark King 616 sends in 5 Australian dollary dues to say Variety reveals that Captain Smith of RMS Titanic has been replaced due to an iceberg mishap. Insiders suggest a new course has been plotted. I get that joke.
Nice
I
one.
get that
Nice
joke.
one. Yeah.
Well played.
Tennille the 10th sends in 10 and says, there's no Freud like Schadenfreude. Sure, might not ultimately change anything, but Lucasfilm's Pol Pot making a prolonged Heinerscheidian exit is still nice. Gotta start somewhere.
Well
Indeed.
played. What a smart
Indeed.
audience we have today.
I do love that people are remember me starting to use the term Heinerscheid as a verb.
She Vadered. Tennille the 10th says again with another 5. Thank you. By any reproachment to the fans, better have a mandate that Pablo be tied up and left in the path of slow-moving steamroller driven by Angry Lion. Oh yeah, so let's not forget about Pablo Hidalgo.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
He's still in the house.
He's still there? Wow, because he's been quiet for a while.
He's trying to
I
keep
think
his
he was
job.
told to be quieted
No.
down, or he was going to get fired. I bet.
And we should pronounce it rapprochement. It sounds cooler.
Rapprochement. Yeah.
Rapprochement. You fucking French bastard.
That's one of the
Drew-
words that I'm with when I'm with my Canadian friends. I go, damn, I wish I knew what the French version of that word is.
Yeah, that's funny.
Drew Tipton says, "Can we talk about Mid Sinners?" Is thank you. Started off until Irish vampires see entire future of black music and try to kill it with river dances. Honestly, dude,
Each
I
to
was
their
one of
own.
I was one of the few people who come out and said, "What the fuck? Why is everybody praising this movie to high heaven?" I did not think it was that great either, Drew. You're not alone on that, but we're a few. We're only a few. And then I think this is Accident Seller, right? Who sends in 15 Norwegian Krona and says, "Thanks for the stream, everyone. Had some great discussion
We'll get
tonight."
back to that one later. That's
But
a
that's
little bit
true.
premature.
Yeah, but now it's time for Koalas in the Rain. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Novo Meg 4, if I'm saying that right. Can you please show us her dog? Well, she's over guarding the snowplows right now. I'll see if I can send Andre.
Oh,
a
did you get
picture
a
and we'll
dump?
share it.
Did you get a dump?
Twice last night.
Yeah,
Twice.
we got a major dump. Son could not go to work yesterday.
Mhm. Yeah, I hear they're out there right now working away. So I'll work on getting a picture of her to show. Mike and Ayers says KK admitted the fans scared RJ off of his trilogy. Ha! Where did she say that? Is that in that interview?
Yeah,
does
that's
kinda
an
say he got
exit
spooked.
interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just desperate gaslighting, trying to blame some. Oh, we totally wanted to do the sequel trilogy or the Ryan Johnson trilogy. Bob Iger was so ready to sign off on it, but then he was just scared by the fans' reactions to that. So total bullshit. So yeah, it's just desperate trying to blame the fans a little bit more on the way out the door.
Those
That's
darn
what they do.
fans. They just didn't like him.
Yeah, damn toxic fans.
Yep. Again with the toxic fans.
Yep.
That's really all they have left, is haters. So really now Star Wars has replaced all of their beloved fans with haters. And acolytes, I guess. You do have a certain group of people that love anything they put out.
And there you go. For those who have not seen Sadie yet, there's Sadie and Asshole.
Yeah.
What's the cat's name?
Asshole.
Okay. I wasn't
Well,
sure.
cats have been called worse than that in the past.
That's one of the few times he's not being an asshole.
Oh,
Like, he's a complete asshole to her. Like, she just wants to play and have fun and be nice, and he just wants to be a dick to her. So, yeah. He's definitely an
That
asshole.
black-hearted cat.
He is. Yes. So he takes after his old man. Yellow Flash is in the house. How you doing? He says Starfleet Academy is awful. The old lady that runs it has so much plastic in her face it barely moves. Well, we're about to talk about that in just a few minutes here for the Yellow Flash. So stick around if you're still here. An accident seller sends in another, 20 Norwegian krona. Says, as Tim Waltz always says, you live and you leer. Or you
Yeah,
lure.
indeed. It's very important to leer.
Luring.
Everyone go out to lure, to leer, and go and find your nearest leering center to do it. Yeah.
I have a hard time with people who can't see what a fraud he is,
Yeah.
independent of the fraud that he's
Well,
he's established.
Tim Waltz.
Tim Waltz, we see politicians all the time who are, putting on the game, and then some are just out of their gourd, like that Crockett woman. Like,
Right.
who believes these people?
well, and I don't
You
even
know
want
what's
to get
really
into this.
hilarious in the case of Tim Waltz? That so many people in the Democrat Party figured that, dude, here we have a real man. This is a masculine dude that's going to win over all of the guys. This is someone who's going to show like positive masculinity. They thought that. This is how they were building him, as a real man who's going to win over all the dudes.
Well, and here's the worst part is the big news is leaving out some of the stories you guys aren't hearing so much of outside of, more locally. We hear about all these, empty daycare centers that there was nobody working at, where they were just siphoning off the money. You guys aren't hearing about the ones that actually were open, and how some of the shit that has happened at some of these places. And let's just say that some of the people that were hired should never have gotten through the system. I'm not even going to get into how tragic some of these stories that I'm hearing are. And people that were like reported and still kept their jobs, let's say, and some other shit. Yeah, I'm not going to get into the deep, dark details. But yeah, there's a lot of worse shit you guys are not hearing out there. So yeah, the empty ones are bad enough. Don't even get me started on the ones that actually had employees.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
There's so
So-
much fraud there. The daycare is just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. And that's the worst part, because it has to do with kids.
Yeah.
That's my point. Yeah. Anyway, no, I wish it was something that we could talk about in the morning show, but I'm not going to get into because it's just going to really drag shit down. So Hypergiver 2 said, words I never wanted in the same sentence. Kathleen Kennedy and full-throated. Well, we don't know. She might be very skilled. That's how she's gotten this far.
Yeah.
But what if Indy gets the dog instead? That was supposedly one of her contributions, Paul. Flying Blind on a Rocket Cycle says, hi, sorry to chat and run. Just wanted to say how horrible this news is. Yeah. How will we get second season of Acolyte now? I think that was never going to be on the table, but yes, I get your sarcasm.
Well, if anything, it has a better chance of happening now than for a while, because now you have more people who are.
That's true.
Yeah. The chance of that happening actually went up, because imagine that Brenwyn wants to make a mark, a name for herself, win over the choir, as it were. What better way to do it?
Well, didn't Filoni make that so he could get laid anyway? I mean, basically.
With his wife?
Yeah, he sacrificed it to the witches.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Packing Protons is in the house. How you doing, Packing Protons? Says she is a non-creative woman. Well, yeah, that's kind of what we got from Steven Spielberg. When removed from Marshall, Spielberg, and other talented men, you get the result of her talent. Simple. Yeah. Well, she makes a mean cup of coffee from what we hear.
Yeah.
Then we got Patrick Robinson in the house who says, has anyone seen the photo of Sophie Turner as Laura Croft? Looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Surprised they are keeping the classic look. I've seen it, but I've also
Well, let's
seen
bring it up.
a lot of controversy involved around it.
The controversy revolves around some squishy bits,
Well,
but
it looks like they graded her from a D to an A. So,
but
this
you know
is an
what?
A,
She looks
A plus.
but she looks great.
She looks fine. I mean, I don't know. She's no Angelina Jolie.
She could probably act better.
Okay.
Well,
We'll see.
you know,
Anyways,
I'm going to be honest and say that I personally am unconvinced. I'm not a huge fan of this picture.
It looks. I've seen the jokes already about it. It being on the cover of a Spirit costume bag. You know,
what does that mean?
so it just looks like cosplay. So
That I think she looks good. I mean, she's doing the pose. I mean, it looks like she's
Yeah,
committed.
there's nothing wrong with the post, but to me, there's something with the face and the hair that doesn't work. And this is where I see the cosplay.
She don't look like
for
Laura
instance,
Croft.
Yeah, she doesn't look like Laura Croft. No,
I think she
that,
does.
like, and that's cool. That's fair. To me, she doesn't. And
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie, I'm not going to say that she was a perfect Laura Croft, but I think that she was closer to what you should be than this is. She doesn't have the right features. She doesn't
I don't.
have the right
To be
features.
fair, I don't think Alicia Vikander did either from the movie, the last Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah,
I don't think she matched. Angelina Jolie was just great casting, I think.
Yeah.
Well, she also had the charisma, and I don't know about Sophie Turner's charisma.
Well, this still is the Sophie Turner. Yeah,
The Fleabag. Is this still the Fleabag?
Thank you.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
it is the
Phoebe
Fleabag show
Waller-Bridge.
on top of
Yep.
it all. Yes.
Thank you, Phoebe. I was confused by Sophie there. Phoebe
Yes.
Waller-Bridge is what I meant to say.
Fleabag.
Just call her
Waller-Bridge.
Fleabag Waller-Bridge.
Yeah,
Exactly.
beat you.
Yeah. So this is
Jerk.
Fleabag, Tomb Raider. And to me, like, just in this picture, there's like something wrong. And also, you know what I
Yeah.
don't like about it? That this is a very, very staged photo shoot. You have like this standard photographer background in there. I mean, personally, I would have loved to like see something on set or something like that. To me, that's the best first reveals. Is a set picture.
Yeah, it looks
rather
like she
than
ran
a
over to the
made-up-
elementary school on picture day and got this
Yeah,
taken.
Well,
Walmart.
this-
She got it at Walmart.
Yeah, these are just test shots, though. At least she looks like she's built like Elliot Page, though. So good on her. She's fit.
Yeah. But
You
still,
said it.
don't-
I wasn't going to say it. Now I'm going to say it. She looks like trans cosplay.
Oh,
There.
whoops.
There.
Careful.
Yeah, I know. I can't say the other word, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Script Doctor is with us.
Somebody who's who knows all about tits and ass. Script Doctor.
Oh yeah, yeah. Where are they? Where's the beef? You know,
Where's the beef?
Where do
I mean,
white
even
women at?
Angelina Jolie put in like fake stuffed her bra for when she did the features back then.
Well, didn't she actually get a tit job between
No,
somewhere in between there?
no,
She
she
lost some.
got a breast
lost
job
some.
after she lost her breasts to a disease. She got them replaced.
Well, I know it had to be somewhere between Hackers and Tomb Raider because if you've
No, it
seen
was after
Hackers,
she'd already been with Brad Pitt for a while. Is when she had her. breasts
I was gonna
augmented.
say at some point, but anyhow.
Yeah, but that's as a result of like I think cancer or something, and not.
Oh, I thought she just got them done because
Nope.
Yeah.
Packing Protons looks like they noticed it too.
Yeah. Anyhow, so there's your new Tomb Raider, guys. So Script Doctor, I'm assuming you have a thing or two to say about Kathleen Kennedy before we get back into super chats here.
Well, one thing I would say is people need to stop conflating her that she was ever a creative producer. She wasn't.
Nobody did.
No, people are saying that. They're like, oh, all these other directors would have still done the same thing if she wasn't there. Like, yeah, to a degree, but she was a problem-solving producer. And she had the hardest job ever because if they found out she was working for someone like De Palma or Marshall or Spielberg, all the prices would skyrocket up.
Yeah,
Because-
that's true, but it's still it's still open doors. Let's not fucking beat around the bush there.
Oh, no, of
compared
course.
to
Like
others.
her connections there clearly open doors. But the other part, too, is she also made like 80% of current working Hollywood today. Regardless of that, that's why so many people, defend her. That's why she was able to basically bury the current day Lucasfilm without anyone really protesting against her actions. Is because it's like how do you protest someone who helped you get your career started? Right.
Or got your kids through college, which
Yeah,
also
I
happens
mean,
a lot.
Again, Hollywood's currency is not money, it's reputation, because that reputation facilitates money. That's the order of operations. So that's what has you now. She's bowing out now, which it, better late than never. But at the same time, it's The Who wrote a song about this 1 year after Star Wars came out. I tweeted about it. It's like same boss as the old boss. It's the same team here.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change. It's not a sigh of a relief. It's more like a sigh of sadness.
Mm.
Just,
Yeah.
that's all I got to say about that. It's like this. I mean, it's almost news, non-news, because
Yes.
Yes.
what is
That's what
really
I thought
going
last
to
night.
change?
That's a great point, Script, because Shark of Paper, one of our contributors, was like, "Oh my gosh, Kathleen Kennedy's out," and I'm like, "We've been talking about
Yeah.
this now for forever. So
10
what?
years
What's
now.
going to change? Is there going to be a remarkable difference at Lucasfilm?"
No, because Bob Iger's still around. And even with people that are like, supposed to be succeeding him, again, like studios don't change until it comes from the top. That's
Yeah.
how it works. And even with Lucasfilm, because doesn't have a distribution contract with Disney. Disney bought it. It's very different ownership than compared to Marvel. Because Marvel is still relatively on its own, but it has an exclusive distribution deal with Disney. That's why Sony can still license out Marvel stuff, and it's not essentially Marvel Studios, but it's Marvel adjacent studios, but still
Right.
has a lot of some of the carryover there. Yeah, like this is now Disney. Lucasfilm is a subsidiary of Disney Studios, and so long as Iger's in charge, and it's going to operate kind of the same way. The only way that might change is if Iger retires and someone new comes in and decides to either clean house, or, which most likely they do, or just reshuffles people around in order to try and see if they can generate profit on their advertising side, which is essentially their film and television. Because again, Disney is a tourist trap company. They create beautiful looking outdoor malls that have people pretending to be characters from their film and television stuff, but they're not a legitimate studio, in my opinion, at all. Like if they were, they would be actually making stuff that was not just something to facilitate visiting their parks. But everything they put out facilitates their parks. There's literally like a Turner and Hooch spot, and I think it's either Disneyland or Disney World, and it's a tiny, tiny little thing, but they do it.
Well, on that note, let's get back to the super chats, and then we'll get on to the Star Trek news. Let's see here. We've got where did we leave off? Oh,
Bring back the
Pack and Proton says Laura Croft is missing 2 important items: her guns. Grimzilla is in the house, and he says, "I think Disney forced her out because the film is coming out this year, and they're hoping people will go if she's gone." That's a good point. Now, normally I'd be like, they don't care, but she was kind of made famous by South Park. So let's address this for a moment. Do you guys think this is a possibility of why they decided now is a good time to get her to fuck out?
No, I don't think it was Disney's decision. I think the matter had more to do with Kathleen Kennedy wants something else to do. The other part too is like if they really wanted to showcase that it's a Disney top-down thing, her name would not be an executive producer on any of the upcoming Disney projects coming out. That's what they would have done. That's your signal. Like if Starfighter doesn't have Kathleen Kennedy as executive producer, with some terminations, you can basically say as part of your termination, we're going to remove this credit from you. You're still going to get your pay, but publicly you're not going to have this credit because it could do detriment to the company with regards to distribution with sales. So, I mean, that's happened. Some people, there have been producers that have been completely terminated from a project and their names are completely removed, but they still got a payout.
And usually they get some other projects to work on. That is you're gone, but here's this 1 or 2 things that you can attach your name to and continue to work on, but just not with us.
Yeah, sometimes they do that.
The problem is that they prove that they don't think of her the same. And this kind of gets us into the Kurtzman bit, and they've proved time and time again that they don't think of her the same way that we do.
Right.
And that's with Kathleen Kennedy. I could totally believe that because, as I've said many times over, she's the most powerful person in Hollywood, probably, hands down. I mean, there's nobody that really probably could swing the axe the size that she does in Hollywood. But at this point, who cares? But Yeah, I don't know if it really matters that if she's gone, the people will show up. I mean,
I'd be curious to hear if
Yeah.
Script Doctor thinks anything about that, because this is
He
something
just
that I
did.
was.
I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like-
I know, but you mentioned something that was interesting, and that was not going to be any real difference until Bob Iger goes.
Right.
But you see now that Kathleen Kennedy, she was instrumental in finding her own replacement, and so she found a replacement that's going to continue on her work. Bob Iger is really influencing the process as well, probably to find another mini-me that's going to continue his work. Is then anything going to change? If you say it's Josh D'Amato, and Josh D'Amato turns out to be Bob Iger 2.0, then you have Kennedy 2.0 and Iger 2.0. How can anything change?
That's right. I mean, that's the thing, right? Because it's Iger gets to choose a successor, and then the board of directors vote on that successor to go in, if I'm not mistaken. The only way, like, again, it comes down to, if you get another Bob Iger 2.0, it'll literally be the same but different. You know, everything's the same, but it's a different guy running it. Same thing over at Lucasfilm right now. The only option being is, like, maybe there's someone in there that is on Iger's radar that Iger really likes, but he's pulling a duck blind on him. He's like pretending to be all these things that Iger wants, and then as soon as he gets in, he's like, okay, we're doing it my way now. To heck with Bob Iger. He had his legacy.
But yeah.
I mean, those things are pretty rare. I can't really think off the top of my head of any examples of that occurring in the studio system at the moment, but I'm sure it'll come to me later. And it's going to be it's not going to be the most interesting time. And I also don't think general audiences are even going to recognize or know about Kathleen Kennedy, and that departure has anything to do with that. It just does not seem something that's on the radar. Maybe the diehard Star Wars fans are might be happy about this. You're going to have, of course, the
same
normals.
ones that would have went anyway, basically.
Yeah, the same ones that would have went anyways. You're also going to have the ones that, sorry to say it, use the word, but the plebs, the ones that if it has Star Wars written on it, they will buy it and they will love it because it's Star Wars. Not anything to do with the merit of the quality itself. Just it's got the name on it. It's mine. It's Star Wars. It's authentic. It's canon. It's all those things. Listen, those are great customers to have, but they also don't help you grow as a franchise or entertainment if they just like everything that you put out. Like you're then not doing anything to improve. You're placating to the lowest common denominator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pilgrim Media says, watch Grace to understand the real woke virus.
What kind of dumb shit did Grace say this week?
I don't know. She said something, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know what she said now.
She defended, what was it this week? I forgot.
Kathleen Kennedy?
No, it was something else, and I forgot what it was. But anyway, Accident Seller says, and now it's time for koalas in the rain. He really wants the show to end.
Wow.
I don't understand. Like, you got shit to do, Accident Seller? Is that what's going on? You're like, come on, time is money, guys. I need to get out of here. Valentine Puppy.
He's referring
says,
to the quality of the show.
That could be. Valentine Puppy says, old audience bought and loved them. New one doesn't. Yeah, that's a problem. Well, and it's not like the newer audience is embracing the same things the old audience loved. That's the problem. And that's the thing, is they have to alter things to make it for the more modern audience. That's the other problem. And we'll get into that a little bit more deeper with Star Trek. Harry Brownhole says to the same. Too late. Yeah.
Did you just say Harry Brownhole?
That's what it says there. Harry Brownhole.
Okay.
Packet Proton says woke franchises hire woke writers, hence destroyed property. They hijack properties because no one would follow an original woke one. That part is partially true. And since we have a script writer here, he'll back me up on it. It has less to do with the fact that something is woke. It's just that it's written poorly.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, because again, there's shows with woke ideas that are written really, really, really well, but they don't feel like they're pontificating or preaching to you. On the opposite side of things, there's also shows that are not woke, that are written fairly well, that are pontificating and approaching to you, but it's not on the woke side. It's on the anti-woke side. And those things are just as cringe.
Yeah.
There you go. And then we've got Valentine Puppy again, who says, for the Empire and YouTube, AI theory is superior. Okay. Packer Proton says, someone in your chat said he was a cameraman and hates Kennedy. Ooh, interesting.
Oh.
I think that may have been in reference to that Kennedy took a look at cameramen and said, "Dude, there's too many men here. Where's the women?"
Oh, that's when she was on a date with Frank Marshall in the 80s looking at SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people thought that she was saying that before SNL happened, and no, they deliberately took her out of context to try and humiliate her further. But she started as a camera operator, and she's like, hey, here we are 10 years later, and there's not a female camera operator at SNL and NBC. That's weird.
Interesting.
Or maybe he's making a joke about the Zapruder tape, and that Kennedy.
I doubt it. BAGH4X, Bog4X, says, we haven't gotten to California yet. What about the East Coast, New Jersey? What's going on in New York? This is just going to get bigger.
Oh, yeah.
What's this in reference to?
That's the ICE raids and riots.
Oh.
Yep. And the fraud.
Yeah, good times.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Duh. Yeah, I'd love to see California.
Oh, my gosh.
We're going to get Floyd Good posters up at some point.
They're coming.
And then
George
says,
Floyd. So it's George Good. Sorry.
George Good. I saw Deep Cover with Lawrence Fishburne, directed by the badass black dude in Predator, and it also has Jeff Goldblum. Great movie, but now Koala. He just wants us to he's just trying hard. Is this because Andre didn't say it last time? I just jumped into it because we were trying to get out of here because shit was going on in the background. But anyway, Darth Maul's lower half says, if they would appoint me president of Lucasfilm on day one, I'd walk through. Well, that's because all you could do is walk. Anyway, he's just the lower half. That headquarters cloaked like the Grim Reaper, and you better not cross my path. Well, all you're going to do is kick him. That's all you can do, because you're only Darth Maul's lower half. Pilgrim Media says they're taking down channels for Troon comments.
For true comments, I should imagine.
No, I know what he's saying here. Because Yellow Flash had to edit out a few words from a couple of Flash casts that have to do with the trans community, let's say.
Oh, right. Okay.
M. Miller says since the White House is FCC must think Ellison broke the pledge, massive red flag, and warning to Paramount as they can terminate his control of Paramount.
Wow, that would be a backfire.
I just read, I didn't read the article, but I saw some headline about some conflicts with Paramount, which is what I was pointing out to people, that they're going to run into just as many, if not more, speed bumps than Netflix would in this sale. I don't think Ellison took that into consideration, or he's got some shitty ass lawyers.
More likely the crappy lawyers. There's a whole bunch of them out there. I mean, even right now, Duncan Crabtree Ireland, who is one of the legal counsels for SAG-AFTRA, is talking about strikes again, and that's he made a terrible deal last time, which is why they have to strike again this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Shanatsky has the answer to everything. So if you have a question, ask Shanatsky, because he's been here for 42 months.
Indeed. Yeah. Maybe we should ask him about Star Trek, because we need to get
We're going to after
that.
these Rumble rants, and then we're ready to go on to Star Trek. Kalekioki says, Tom, what is the update with Mead? Could you just circumvent YouTube by using a PayPal link exclusively, as Streamlabs could help you as well? I did try Streamlabs, and I couldn't figure out how to get my money off there. And then he goes on to say, to start another YouTube channel after you built Mead to where it is just asinine. This is why all my support comes from Rumble now. I cannot stand YouTube anymore. Well, if Rumble had better reach and infrastructure, and God, I'm not going to get into all that. Kalekioki says, also, might be a good idea to simulcast to Rumble as well, instead of just using for Mead Radio. Just a thought. Well, I also don't know how to use Rumble. Andre figured it out, but I haven't been able to yet. But yes, I know, I agree with you, and I wish I was able to just be supported by just like something like PayPal, but I can't expect you guys to do that, and you know, at the end of the day, it's going to take some time to rebuild, but we're just going to have to do it. And hopefully within the next few weeks, we'll launch that, and it will hopefully be a success. And we're going to have some help with like the guys over at WDW Pro and all that kind of business. So yeah, with that though, you can help me out in the meantime by using a PayPal or Venmo link here in the chat, and we appreciate that if you're able to. If not, don't worry about it. But Star Trek is on streaming now, and according to I think it was the Variety review, it needs to change after all these years, Andre, to take it into the next generation. So
Yeah,
that's
well,
why
it
we're
did,
getting this.
and it premiered to 1,300 people. That's how much that needed to change.
Now, maybe in the United States, but I couldn't find the YouTube version in Canada.
That would be because it's geo-blocked.
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
United
no, just
States.
probably.
So it could only open in the United States.
So can someone in the US pull it up? How many views has the YouTube version of episode 1 actually gotten so far? Because I have my pronouncement on the show.
I'd love to
I
figure
can
that
reveal
out,
it here.
But if Chris or Tom can help us out with that, just check on YouTube.
82,000 views.
Seriously?
Wow.
So they get to see episode 1 for free.
Not even 100,000 views yet.
Wow. That's seriously bad.
Awful.
That's like what a downvote that is. Holy smokes. You didn't even see you don't even need to see the downvote.
Gen Alpha that does rewatch episodes of classic Star Trek with less channel subscribers than Paramount gets more views than that.
What's the total number of subscribers Paramount TV on YouTube have there?
Oh gosh, I think it's well
like,
over 1 million. Let me see.
Usually, like those channels, like ABC, CBS, and then
What's
usually
funny?
have about 4 to 5 million.
Looking at it here, Paramount
81 million.
has
Wow. 81,000.
Paramount Plus. Let me see.
Because that's the YouTube channel it was playing on.
They don't
They
list
have
the
one-
amount of
they have one
subscribers
point-
they have.
Sorry, 1.98 million. So 2 million.
And approximately 10% of that watched Star Trek. That's kind of normal ratio for.
Yeah. That is a prime ratio for YouTube is 10% of your subscribers. But on the other hand, there are people with 1,000 subscribers that'll get 100,000 views on a video that attracts people's attention, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that's not 10%, guys. That's less than 5%. That's
The
Yeah.
main Star Trek official YouTube has 178,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
But that's nuts. I mean, an opportunity to see a network show for free that you would normally have to pay for, you'd
Yeah.
think you'd get 1 million views.
Well, we know how down in the dumps they are, however you want to put it. When 5-6 years ago, when Script Doctor will remember this, when Discovery was on, they were showing this is for the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. They were showing all the first episodes of Star Trek from all the different shows. And we had almost as many people watching us on Midnight's Edge After Dark, not the main channel, Midnight's Edge After Dark. And we went over we raided their chat group, and they shut down the chat group because we were in there. And we had a bunch of people get pissed off at us.
Oh, that was for
because
the
of
55th anniversary. Yeah.
it. And that's where Sean comes from, the famous story of Sean who never showed his face again.
Oh,
He
right.
blamed us for getting it shut down, so I let him come on the show. And yeah. Or Shane, not Sean, Shane. But anyhow, yeah, so like nobody cares. This is a deader duck than I could ever thought Star Trek could be. But this is a good thing, if you ask me. And the reason I say it's a good thing is because this is a signal to them that the Kurtzman Trek is dead. They need to get past this. They need to get back to basics. They need to go back to formula. Hopefully Ellison and people in charge are paying attention to this and how much of a disaster
They better.
this
They
is.
absolutely better.
So my review, my top line headline probably is going to be in my thumbnail that this is the best Kurtzman Trek ever. And I would say watching the first 2 episodes, it's clear that he didn't understand and he hated the constraints of having a show on a ship that came with rules. Here, he doesn't need any of them. This is a bunch of LA kids with prosthetics, and like it's written in unbelievably in a simplistic way, but it's clear that this is the version he always wanted.
Yeah.
And the actual vessel stopped him from doing this. In a weird way, if this was not labeled Star Trek. Now, put it this way, I don't think he has the creativity to have been able to come up with the world building that he is absconded with to do this. Okay. But he's a physics and science hater. And
for sure.
And this is the version of Star Trek he wanted from the beginning. I am absolutely certain of it. And in that regard, if you're a fan of Kurtzman Trek, this is the best. Which is
It's the
This is
most
true, yeah.
simplest. It is the simplest of all the Star Treks he has
Yes.
put his name onto. And the irony is that everything that he is doing in Academy, you could still do on a ship and there'd be no difference. Like, it's a mentality thing from Kurtzman. He does not understand that a ship is still a standing set and it's still a place you can explore. It just doesn't commute to him, which shows that he shouldn't even be in this industry. He can't see that practicality.
I mean, he was the. I mean, we've already gone through it. He's the wrong person. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get science. He loves, having bits and pieces of of these massive starships actually land on a planet with a massive amount of gravity. When these vessels are built in space for a reason, but that doesn't matter.
Well, when you go 1,000 years into the future, gravity is not really an obstacle.
Yeah, no, the gravity's gone. But okay, and I'll put it to you that let's say the Athena has the power to be able to land on Earth to become part of the school, which is what they do, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's part of the campus. Yeah,
it's part of the campus, Berkeley 2.0, and the thing is, though, it's a cheat. It's like let's keep some things that we know to be true now to make it feel that it's real, that these vessels are built in space, they are fixed in space, and they're managed in space because they are massive. And you just don't go land them like they're a Kia in a parking lot at a Good Life. I mean, he just does not get it, and he doesn't celebrate that kind of massive physical requirements that and also in this show, the ship gets severely blown up in places, corridors collapse, people are strewn about like cannoli, and a waiter dropping a tray of cannolis, and then when the thing lands at spaceport, there's no vessels going out to fix the Athena, there's no ambulances pulling the massive number of injured off the vessel, there's no parents grieving. I mean, all that's gone. And then the other thing that's really funny is that once Nus Braca, does his thing.
Paul Giamatti,
yeah, Paul Giamatti. What's really funny is that all the people who are actually running the ship, all the professionals, the script has them completely disappear, and the story is saved by the students. It's like where'd the professionals go? Where's the people who are actually hired to manage this massive vessel? And it's just so.
Well, what's striking here is that you have a personification of those that can't teach put into Starfleet Academy, which is the exact antithesis of what it is, because every instructor at Starfleet is probably one of the best out there who has already served their time in space,
right? Came
back. And yeah, the fact that not a single officer on that bridge crew could be like, oh yeah, it's reprogrammable matter. Let's just reprogram it. Like that's like it's already in the name. Like not a single person could figure out how to do that. It has to be this kid.
Caleb did it.
Yeah, this kid who's been like, bouncing around as a criminal in space.
Right.
Is the one who's able to come up with it. That's the other part that always bothers me with a lot of modern day shows, is that they have this kid from the wrong side of the tracks who is this savant, this natural genius that didn't really earn or work for it, but we knock him down by like making him beat up and everything. It's not until like episode 2 where you get a proper character teardown of him.
Right.
From Tig Notaro, and it's one of the least cringiest things I saw there.
You know what? That's true. And I like Tig. I thought there's a real lesbian I can stand behind. I don't mention him. I don't mention her in my review because that just, she does start off with this strange line where she talks about how science has hurt her. And I'm thinking, okay, is this a reference to trans?
No, she's making a sardonic joke about the fact that she was pushed 1,000 years in the future.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But I like her. She's a good stand-up. And
yeah.
And I'm not going to berate her for, being a legit lesbian on a show that tends to celebrate this kind of stuff. But
well, what's peculiar is that if you take a look at her scenes in Star Trek Discovery, she has the fewest identity politic driven scenes out there. She's just this bitchy person who's bitchy for the sake of being bitchy and not in any way with regards to what is going on around them. She has the fewest out of all of them on the original show. But yeah, that was actually the only scene where I'm like, oh wait, that scene there could fit into another Star Trek episode.
And I would feel totally okay with that. But
it only took them a decade to figure out how to do that for the first time. Working on the series on this.
Yeah, and they don't have a fat bitchy lesbian for the first time.
Right.
No, like one that weepy, sorry.
Then what the fuck am I looking at here?
Tig is not that's not Tig.
I know that, but you said this thing doesn't have any fat bitchy
No.
I
said finally they have one who's not, is what I said.
Yeah.
In Tig is what I'm saying. And she's got some superpowers.
Got ya.
So, and the other thing that drove me nuts about this, again, here's the science bit, is the there's several people in here who are hybrids, Klingon, Tellarites, what's her name? Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter is another species. Yeah.
It's another combo species. So I know this was a disease that was caused by the Spock human Vulcan thing. Okay. But Darwin found these Galapagos mockingbirds and then found the same species on different islands, and then found out that they were separated for so long, over such a long time, that even though they're basically the same birds, they couldn't mate. But you can get a fucking alien from some fucking place where you don't know where her woohoo is, and you don't know what you're sticking in there, and you're somehow creating new life. Like it drives me fucking nuts that this stuff is just tossed out there without any explanation. Like, I don't know, is there like a turkey baster replicator out there that's making these?
Paul is saying
Mark Leonard actually has an audio story about the conception of Spock and how it was done through a test tube.
Okay.
And then you find out through some of the books is that medical science in the Federation has allowed for compatibility of interspecies. That's why you have a character like B'Elanna Torres in Star Trek Voyager, who is human father, Klingon mother. And that it's just kind of normal but
it's way overdone script. It's I mean, I know you're right. You're better with the lore than me, but it's like it's anti-science. Don't do this.
Well, in some cases it's anti-science. The other part is that we don't know what would happen if there is compatibility with other species in the future. Like there could be something in there that certain types of humanoid development allows for that. But again, that's speculative real world science versus fictional science.
Yeah, I would feel better if that was done on, what's the one which had the Mars people?
The Expanse?
The Expanse. Okay, so you've got a whole bunch of humanoids that have been separated from each other for a good long time. it would have been more believable to have some kind of science that says, well, you can't interbreed, but you know what? If we have this thing, that we might be able to overcome it. But you're close already. You're not a horned lizard lesbian. I mean, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but then you also have the progenitor species, which apparently seeded the entire galaxy.
Oh,
That was in
okay.
the TNG
Okay.
episode. Yeah, again, there's all these weird aspects that they brought in, which is why are there so many aliens that look like humanoids? And we call them humanoids. It's like, oh, this progenitor species that TNG did, and then Discovery completely destroyed. And
Well,
I don't know
and
what's-
this character here is a completely different alien. What happened? Did Chicago get suddenly shot into space?
She is a photonic. So this is a part of Voyager lore where there's a species that is all holograms. So they're all controlled by a central computer. Or
Oh.
they're on like a central server, and then
didn't-
they're built and developed. And she is a
She's a hologram?
Yep, she's a hologram. Her,
Okay,
her
I
name is
missed that.
Sam, and that's an acronym
Yeah.
for something about holograms.
Oh my god.
What do we
Worse
know
and
about
worse.
what do we know about the female loci that's in the one of the background shots? The female that's got the black and the white.
Oh, from the
face.
shark, we don't know anything.
That was
other
just
than
a
the fact
quick.
that
That's
she
a
shouldn't-
quick pass. Yeah.
She technically, I mean, there's a possibility she could be there because maybe there are people that escaped that planet before it was destroyed. But that's a story you have to tell. You can't just pop it
Well,
up there.
that's right, because the story that we know is that there were only 2 left out of the entire species, and they were both male.
Well, yeah. Well, again, they look like male. They might not be male. We assume. Again.
You know
That's
what? You
right.
should get in. You must be in the writer's room because that's the only kind of approach that would explain it.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's more about the lore than some of the writers in these writer rooms.
Oh no, I do because they're not. Again, a lot of the screenwriters their favorite sci-fi is Battlestar Galactica from Ronald D. Moore.
Yeah.
And they grew up watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So they've done a hybrid of those
Exactly.
things. And
Oh,
those are not,
exactly.
those are two of the worst. They're great shows on their own, but they're two of the worst shows to use as your foundation for your writing skill.
Yep.
They're absolutely the worst. But again, as far as the Enterprise knew, there was only those 2 left there. And then when they got to the planet, it was completely destroyed. Who's to say
Yes.
that they didn't have refugees that left?
Maybe.
before the
Yeah,
destruction?
maybe so. Okay, that would be a stretch, but you're going to need to
But that'd be a
explain
fun
that
story to
instead of
tell.
just tossing it out there.
Yeah, like that'd be a great story to tell if you say, "Hey, let's do an episode on that one on the Loki character or Loki character," and be like, "So we have records in Starfleet history that we thought your species
Right.
would exist." Like, no, a small group of us escaped just before
Right.
the planet blew up or was destroyed
Because of the racism. We
because
had
of
to
the
get out
racism,
of there.
because of this
Yeah.
stuff. And
The
what's
race
interesting
wars.
is that I've only seen the one where it's white on the left side and black on the right side. I haven't seen the reverse anywhere else. So is it only that one species left?
Maybe.
It depends on which washroom they use.
That's
Mhm.
in yeah. I think didn't CBS All Access do the same thing with Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone? Put the first episode out on YouTube to try to generate subscriptions.
They've
or
done that
whatever.
for a lot of
Yeah,
their shows,
yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
I would
yeah.
love it if there was some way to find out how many views those got versus this. I think that would be an interesting
Well,
comparison.
I mean, just to kind of, I mean, I don't have that in front of me, but I do know that it is strange, or at least bad for them, that they went from roughly 10 million people watching during the first episode of Discovery when it dropped right after the Super Bowl, compared to this when they can barely even get 2,000 viewers live.
It's sad. Yeah. Well, and Discovery is part of the reason why.
Oh,
Well, and how can you justify the expenditure on this shit anymore?
can't.
That's my thing.
this is an expensive show.
I
That's what I'm
don't-
getting
yeah.
at.
It is
Yeah.
beautifully done. My big complaint is that I don't see a single janitor pushing smelly sawdust around with a mop.
Well, I would say the special effects for that one alien character that goes outside on the hull, that was bad because his artificial head looked like it was pasted on there over his actual face. Like the CG compositing of from his humanoid form to his EVA form did not look good at all. That looked
Well,
cheaply done.
They were crusting him with ice.
No, before that, when he's still in the airlock,
know.
and yeah,
Yeah, I know that did look suspicious.
it didn't look in sync with his movement. It looked like it was floating on top of his face. But yeah, they've been spending way too much money on this show. It's definitely not going into the areas it is. So this is, and also this second season is wrapping up production in the next few weeks. There's no confirmation of a third season. Likely will not be the case.
But you know what? It's a show that's filled with really attractive young people and even girls in mini skirts. And
Well, I don't know if that one Betazoid woman is a girl or not. She does not look very feminine. The one in the white that we see.
yeah, she looked pretty hot to me.
She
I
looks
liked
more
her.
Dylan Mulvaney than she does regular.
No, I think she looks pretty
Uh-oh.
good.
Maybe
No,
it's just the hair and makeup style.
Don't,
they're
don't
trying
do
make
that
her
to
look
her.
like.
I thought she.
I
was
just don't
pretty-
know. I was like, something's not right there. But the other one, the one in the red with the gray skirt, who she's got some gravitas.
Yeah,
going
she's
on.
a mean girl.
Mhm.
And then you've got the soy boy Klingon. Like, please, you got the
But they clearly altered his voice on the
you got the
post.
pussy Klingon.
Yeah.
Then you got
But
the
his
bad.
mommy taught him
bad
how to
boy.
cook, right? So he's a chef.
That's correct.
That's right.
That's correct.
No
And they
mention
do
When the
of
fuck
awful.
does this show take place?
Takes place in
32nd century.
32nd century.
1100 years from now.
Yeah.
When they
Like in
still say
comparison to
things like-
TOS. Don't give me fucking numbers. Just tell me compared to TOS.
900 years in the future.
Huh?
900 years in the future.
Yeah, remember it, because Tom, this is the direct follow-up to Star Trek Discovery. Like, this is the literal continuation. And remember, it's the season 3 of Star Trek Discovery. They traveled forward to the future, and everyone else that were still left agreed never to speak of this ever again, so that they
So
can go into
basically-
the TOS era.
We are in this show now as far from TOS as we are from TOS in reality.
No,
Kind of,
further.
yes. No, further, much
We're
further.
closer to TOS in reality than this show is to TOS.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's twice as far away.
Twice
Fine.
as far away, yet they still dress and look like this and act like this.
Well,
They
yeah,
still say
because
things
the,
like
because
fun fact, or make game show sound effects in class.
yeah, you got to remember, Tom, that without the globalists of the Federation, the entire universe collapsed. Which is why now they have to rebuild it and go and spread joy across the universe.
And why do they have another war-related Starfleet Academy and a regular academy?
They
Like,
got Earth's War Department, and then they have
Yeah, I
Starfleet
know. But
Academy.
why? Why?
I know.
Well, because there's still toxic white males out there that needs to be vanquished.
That's right. You got all these
Yes.
war people who like war stuff that shouldn't
Exactly.
be warring.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a badly written show, but it's the best Kurtzman Trek that I've seen. And
Yeah,
the people are good. Caleb is actually very charismatic. I could actually see this working if enough young girls just go for the teen beat aspect of this show.
So basically, of all Kurtzman Trek, this is the most Kurtzman.
No, it's the least Kurtzman, actually. Technically speaking, yeah, because it's the best stuff that he's put out, so it'd be the least of what he's done.
Oh my God. That's
I knew it's
inverse-
script meant,
I knew what you meant, but that's still funny. It's still funny.
but it doesn't really matter. It's still dog shit.
Well, yeah, and if this was TOS, they would have spent a shitload of time trying to envision what a bunch of kids in the future would be into, what they would be looking like. I mean, listen, TOS has got a lot of crazy hoary stuff. I mean, let's be honest.
Mhm.
But they had that one future group of people that fed Balar or whatever that thing was with food and
Oh, and the apple, yeah.
and they had the horns and these little antennae, and they had the eye makeup, and they were all wearing skins, and they were half naked, but they looked
red.
painted red, but they all looked of a kind, and they were young, and at least they envisioned what would quote unquote teens be like in the future. So again, it was TOS, it was the usual fun stuff of the era, but at least they gave it a try. Here, like I said, this is just Los Angeles. This is Berkeley. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really with prosthetics. That's all it is.
Because
Well,
normal Starfleet officers or cadets coming into, they would be the type of person that they think they're ready for adulthood because they have all this knowledge and education and this expertise, but the school will then teach them, like, you're not really ready for adulthood because everything that you've learned up to this point is just the surface of what we're going to get into to make sure you're going to survive when you get out into space.
We'll get this review from Variety. Starfleet Academy is fun and an exciting ride. It's likely somewhat different from what long-time Trekkies are accustomed to, but perhaps that is the point. To ensure the franchise lasts at least another 60 years, it must reflect our actual world. There
Oh,
must be
here we
space-
go.
There must
Goddamn
be
mantra.
space made for queer identifying, multi-heritage, and mixed-raced characters.
Is that a
clear in
quote?
This is right. I'm looking at it right now.
Wow.
It's clear in many ways on television and in real life that the old guard has long dropped the ball as Starfleet Academy declares it's now up to a new generation to fix this mess we've inherited. Read the full review here.
Yeah, but they behave just like Melrose Place.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the future. This is how you envision things. I mean, this is silly. But again, I'm not
is.
surprised. I mean, these are from the same people who have pillared Scott Adams, who have hoisted Bridget Bardot for being too right wing. I mean, you know, this is the same people.
And lest we forget, that always asks if this is the gayest thing ever and celebrates whenever it is.
Yeah. It's the only thing that's important. It's like
Yeah.
I said, these shows need to be about what they do, and then we find out who they are later on.
Mm-hmm.
It gets pieced out little by little. But these shows are 100% about who they are, not what they do.
Yep, indeed. Any further thoughts on Star Trek before we move on here?
Nope.
Other than it's tragic that this is what's going on during its 60th anniversary. That's all I got.
Very much so, and it's even more tragic. And I think a stain on Ellison's early record that he's allowed this to come out.
He had no choice.
Yeah,
He had no
Yeah.
choice. He had no choice.
Oh, I'm sure if he had paid enough money, there was an option.
Yeah. The years-long battle between Star Trek and Star Wars has ended in both of their deaths.
It should have been
that's what I mean.
Batgirl. I totally agree.
I mean, it would be a really hard deal to do because Paramount has been actually licensing out their plus shows for after distribution. So
That's part of the problem.
that's probably
yeah.
the issue here.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Because really, I submit. So I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go
sorry
ahead.
about that. But same with all of the Marvel stuff that's come out now in Phase 5 and Phase 6. I submit they would have been better off to pay off the cast and everything as it was a hit. Take all of those extra expenses and not release them, no matter how expensive it would have been, because then it wouldn't have destroyed the brand. Now this is coming out and it's destroying the brand even more. There's no price you can pay to make that better. But if there
Yeah.
was a dollar amount that they could go back in time to get the franchise viable again, well, this is it basically.
Well,
The
beyond
cost
like,
of releasing all this shit is the destruction of the brand.
yeah, I mean, beyond like the whole, you know, Batgirl, and other things that we've talked about in the past. One of my favorite stories is the Rambo story about how Stallone was so mortified by the first cut of Rambo,
Mm-hmm.
he almost bought the film just to destroy it, right? Like at that point, and then he's like, you know, he let it, you know, he took a breath and re-edited it himself down to what we got, which is the slim 90-minute film that it is. But I guess the initial cut was like 2.5 hours long, and he just
Something
was like,
like
oh,
that.
he's
Very
like, this is
long.
trash. Yeah,
He also spoke. The thing is, he said that he was speaking way too much. There was way too much dialogue.
he did. That's
Yeah.
not even a joke. Yeah, he absolutely said that. Yeah, there was too many lines for Rambo. So
Yeah,
he pretty
it's-
much cut it down to nothing.
I mean,
Yeah.
his instincts were very good. Although, I mean, he butted heads with Norman Jewison on that Union movie. But his head was quite enlarged after Rocky.
Well, and Sly has proved time and time again, though, that he can keep bouncing back just like
Yeah.
Rocky does. So,
No, yeah.
but that's
I mean,
just my point. Is he knew he was at least he got ahead out of his own ego, or however you want to put it. His own ego put him in that position to where he was like, okay, I got to fix this or destroy it, one or the other. And I think Ellison should have saw that. I agree with Andre. I don't give a shit what it cost you. This looked so bad on the surface, the way it was. People were making fun of it. It should have the same. This should be in the same place that Safe Space and Snowflake are right now. In that little bubble of no place woke heaven that never got a chance to exist. It got aborted before it even fucking got a chance to live. That's where this thing should be. Like, that's the one time you'll hear me say I support abortion. That's what it has to do with this shit. Get rid of it now. Get it out of like they used to do that all the time in Hollywood too, and I don't understand where they got like away from that. Where it's like you get so far into these projects, and sometimes it would be worth it more for them to just shut it down and take the insurance money, which is basically what they or the tax break, which is basically what they did with Batwoman, right? Like at that point, you're just fuck it.
Well, with Batgirl, they had no external distribution deals, so they could do that. With,
right.
In this type of instance here with Paramount, what I've been learning is that they have their exclusive deal when it debuts, and then they have their third parties that if you don't get Paramount Plus elsewhere, they'll sell it to those other parties to get it, and you can't break those deals without having to give that money back. And that's where you get put. And that's one of the deals that a lot of showrunners, when they're pitching stuff, are trying to get those deals because they don't want to have their thing canceled and be a tax write-off, because then they don't have a publicized credit that they can show their work to then use to get other work. So it's because right now, like Warner Brothers with a lot of their HBO Max stuff, they're basically saying like, yeah, for our first one, we're going to do this, and then if we decide to sell it to a third party for licensing, then we'll negotiate with you on the next side. So that's the way they can still do the tax write-off. So they do it in stages.
Yeah, and I'm speaking of that, I'm kind of trying to figure out why the fuck Many Saints in New York is no longer on HBO Max.
Interesting.
It's not on any streaming service whatsoever, other than you got to buy it. like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be an exclusive, but whatever. Anyway, that being said, that's a totally different thing. But no, like I still say they would have been better off paying it off. Whatever fucking distribution deal they had, whatever it was going to cost them at the end of the day, you just add it to the fucking budget of the next Star Trek movie, like they did with Superman Returns. At this point, that's what
except
I would do.
I'll throw in the William Goldman line. No one knows anything.
Yep.
And this thing could have been a massive success.
Yeah,
Paul, I agree with you if we were talking about like Discovery or maybe Strange New Worlds, but at this point,
I don't care.
Section 31 and everything else, this is like a shame on me, shame on you kind of situation.
The rule still holds. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, there are very few with the testicular fortitude of a David Zaslav, honestly. But that should have been easy to figure out that movie was going to be a disaster.
I'm so glad he was one of my calls. God damn, I'm so happy about that.
But Ellison isn't there yet, and Star Trek is such a beloved brand. That would have been a harder call, I think, to cancel a fully produced cat lady Star Trek show. That's what we have.
They could have killed this thing when it was still mid-stroke, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and saved some cash. But either way, like, yeah.
At least, maybe at least Kennedy probably would have fired Kurtzman. No, maybe not. Never mind.
Is anybody ever going to give me credit for DeLuca, too? I swear he was listening to me.
You get all the credits.
You get Mike DeLuca in there.
All I know is that so far there's nothing on the docket for production in Star Trek for 2027. So
no, we knew that for a while. Yeah.
This last year,
except for that movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm talking like television series under the Secret Hideout brand, because the movie stuff is not connected to Secret Hideout or Bad Robot, as far as I have found. So yeah, like this is the last year. So Strange New Worlds is wrapping up their last season production, season 5. This way, I know they're trying to push for the Kirk, new generation of Kirk series, but there's been no progress on that from what I've heard. And yeah, and then Academy season 2 wraps before the end of February, and then that's it.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that.
Well, that's what happens when franchises die.
Yeah, we did have a super chat on the screen earlier that I missed. Sorry about that. Accent Seller says, this is also why Imperial March was missing in Star Wars. John Williams had not come up with the theme yet. He added to the score onwards. That's correct. Well, he added new themes in each and every movie if you're actually paying attention. And then Miller says, my super in reference to Academy, White House comment. The White House commented on Academy? Seriously?
Really? Huh.
Andre, there might be a video in this. Mikey is in the house. How you doing, Mikey? I miss you.
Miss you too, man.
I love you. Sends in 10 and says breaking rumors of anti-ice protest happening on Hilton Head Island this weekend. I'm calling local peeps and rolling down there in MAGA gear and U.S. flags. And yes, I'm taking a pro-ice t-shirt and sombrero.
Nice.
Wouldn't you be
You
the
should
only
hand
one
us
they'd
some
be
ice cream.
interested in? Ice cream.
How on earth can the anti-ice protests get through the gates?
Not only
Yeah.
that, like I said, he's the only one that's well, there is some help that might be in trouble. That's true.
Take your passport
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to play it safe.
just to
Yeah.
be on the safe side.
Bambino
Yeah.
will save you. Don't
Yeah.
worry. Bambino will save you.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike can do stealth work in Hilton Head because he just takes off his nice clothing and they just think he's help.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that went farther.
I like
than
Hilton
did.
Head.
Oh, it's beautiful down there. I've been trying to get
Oh,
back
it's
down
amazing.
there. ever
He's the
since.
only Mexican down there.
Oh, I
Little
don't
does
think
Mike
that's
know
true.
I'm secretly planning on moving in. M. Miller sends in 35 South African rands and says, need to remind, well, Midnight's Edge After Dark keeps going this way. I might have to. Need to remind when Star Trek Discovery premiered in 2017. Yeah, that's right. I brought this up. It had 10 million people tune in to the premiere show. Shows how far the franchise has been beaten down. Well, that was a little artificially inflated because it was right after the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
But that being said, I think they were averaging about 3 or 4 million viewers on Star Trek Discovery for the first season.
And that was under the auspices of CBS,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
Paramount.
Right.
That was
Still,
and-
it's a difference between that and premiering to 1,300 on YouTube with an potential audience of more than 300 million in America.
no doubt. But CBS has a better reputation just overall than Paramount does.
Yeah.
Or had.
Had. I think that's
Right.
the operative word. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got, let's see here. We got Pack of Protons who says, try Kick, monetized right away, IIRC. I'm not familiar with Kick. The only Kick I know is full of like fucking sex bots and shit. And it's spelled KIK. So I don't know what the hell KICK is, but I'll have to look into that.
It's a
I know people brought
Australian
it up before.
video streaming.
Yeah, people brought it up before, so we'll have to check into that. The problem with it is, and I get it, and I love that people, are giving me all these other options. The problem is Rumble is not set up the way YouTube is. It does not have the reach. I'm assuming Kick is probably the same way because I'd never even really heard of it until more recently. So the problem is I could do those things, but I'll probably be doing 10 times as much work for a third of the audience. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Even doing Mead Radio over on Rumble is kind of it more or less depresses me more than anything because nobody listens.
Mm.
like maybe 1 or 2 people at a time, compared to when I would do it on YouTube, where I would definitely have anywhere from 10 to 20 or more listening at any given time. But Calhoun sends in 5 and says, couldn't get into the new Trek. Nobody could. Graphics look like a Starship Troopers, I think he means. The screenplay felt like new Star Wars, just odd. Yeah, not too many people did get into it, dude. So you're not alone in that one. Dark
No.
King says J.J. Abrams is a convincing argument for letting AI just take over Hollywood. Seriously, my Casio calculator could create better Star Trek than this. Well, J.J. Abrams is kind of like AI before AI.
There just needs to be an Abrams Snyder team up,
Yeah.
It's
Chato
probably-
has to bail us.
Chato
but,
had to leave
yeah.
us, yes.
Yeah.
But we're almost caught up here anyway. But yeah, no, like, you really want the world to like turn into a black hole?
that would happen. It would split the universe.
It would. And then Miller says Roddenberry is weeping in his grave. Well, I think he's definitely powering San Francisco with how fast he's spinning. That's for sure.
He's also probably used to it by now. It's probably just detached at this point.
Honestly, he's just probably lucky they haven't tried canceling him.
I thought he was a Scientologist. I don't know if they.
No, he wasn't.
He's got worse issues.
No.
He was
Let's
a
just
ladies'
say-
man, though. But
I was just
He
gonna
was a
say, let's just say
swinger,
he was a ladies' man. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Valentine Puppy sends in another 5. Says was trying to explain is that the YouTube series by AFK for the Empire and YouTuber AI Star Wars videos and content that Star Wars Theory does is superior to Disney. Oh, okay, gotcha. I was wondering if you meant
Yeah,
Star
right.
Wars Theory.
I would say it's
Yeah.
more on par, truthfully. Again, you gotta bring something new to the playground if you want to really make it look and feel like Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean it's great mimicry, and
Mhm.
and I'm impressed, by the technology, but they're not breaking any new ground in storytelling.
I cannot think of a fan film that ever broke new ground in storytelling other than Troops, which was a comedy of stormtroopers.
Which was fantastic.
Yes, it was brilliant.
That's one thing you and I have always kind of agreed with. Like, I like the idea of fan films, but you and I have never been big fans of them.
No,
And not only that, I like to remind people the quickest way to never get a job in the franchise that you love is to make a fucking fan film.
Yeah.
Because the first thing you're going to do is alienate yourself from them, especially if it's good. Because then if it's good, they're definitely not going to hire you. Because not only that, what about that kid who did the CGI fix for Luke? Did they hire him for like when the story
they hired him for like
one or two things, and then they haven't used him since?
Yeah, they hired him, and they don't need him anymore because again, their technology has surpassed what the amateur can do. Even though he was ahead of the game at the time.
Yeah, Addy Shanker probably is the exception.
Oh no, he isn't. He's horrible.
You didn't like Wash Day from The Punisher? I like that.
Oh, Laundry Day? I mean, it was
Laundry Day. Yeah,
it was
thanks.
simple and boring, but he also did a ton of Power Rangers stuff. He did his bootleg thing. Like, he's a fraud through and through, man. Like, he's not know what he's doing, and he's never made any huge impact. Like, the only fan film that ever got a job was the guy who made Troops. He got to work at Lucasfilm because George Lucas loved it. And he's not done anything to detriment the Star Wars brand since he's got to
That was the only time in history where I remember making fan films actually got people jobs. But
Yeah.
that was just because Lucas was like using fan films as basically like resumes.
to a
But that
point,
was-
yeah.
But that was because what Lucas was doing, and this is where it was revolutionary with ILM and all that kind of stuff, is he was trying to do stuff that nobody else was. And he knew he needed these younger,
Younger talents that would
visionaries.
experiment
Yeah.
like him, yeah, and that's why
Exactly.
he put so many Star Wars assets for free on his website back in the day, so that you could actually make and play around with stuff. And he was really looking for like who can bring new ideas to Star Wars. And sadly, one guy did it out of the decade that he had it out there. Because if you look at any Star Wars fan film, it's either it's the Force, it's lightsabers in a forest or a desert, and that's it. You're not getting much of anything else unless it's maybe an X-wing or fight, in which case they're just rehashing lines from previous Star Wars films.
There's one exception besides Troops. George Lucas in Love.
That's a very different type of fan film, but yes,
It is, but it counts.
Yes, it does. That
Because
would count.
it draws all its inspiration from the whole. If you have not seen George Lucas in Love, spend 5-10. What is it? 10 minutes long? Not even.
It's like a
10 minutes
7-minute
watching.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's real short. It's a real short, cute film. Check it out. Anyway, yeah,
Hardware
I agree.
Wars. There's your other one.
Hardware Wars is another good one, but that one's more or less a trailer.
And when I say Ali Shanker, he's working as a producer. He's doing Castlevania and other shows like that. So I mean,
Oh yeah, he's
what
hoodwinked
I
a lot
meant
of
to say
people.
wasn't that his fan films are fantastic or anything. I'm just saying that he didn't get ostracized from the industry for doing them.
Well, I
And then
mean, he's
next-
not in the mainstream because the people that write holders for like some of the stuff he's worked on are still relatively independent. I mean, they're just brokering deals with Netflix because Netflix needs content.
Yes.
Yeah. The Norwegian, Excellent Seller sends in 20 more Norwegian Corona to say Star Trek Nemesis aged better than I thought it would. I don't know about that. I tried watching the 4K when it came out. What was it, last year or the year before?
Yeah.
I still couldn't get more than 10, 15 minutes into that.
It looks good though, and there
It
will
looks
very
good,
soon be
but-
koalas.
And there will
Yeah,
be
right.
very soon koalas. Yes. Accident Seller. And then Le Sumerian sends in $9.99 to say, love to hear what Andre thinks on recent Saigon video.
Sargon of
Sargon.
Akkad.
Yeah, on 40K and the meta myth of modernity.
Well, I'd have to see it first. I don't have an opinion yet because I haven't seen it.
I guess I'll have to
So,
check it out.
Yeah, I'll see.
And you
I'll
must
see
have
if I can
stepped
check it
away.
out.
And you must have been away when Chris brought up Dirty Laundry, because usually we get the story.
Yeah,
about how
we'll
that's not a very good
relitigate
Punisher.
that for another
Yeah.
day. We already
And then
have
Miller
the clip
says-
of me tearing that a new one. So yeah,
Says after Kurtzman Trek, does he have a viable future in the industry? Oh yeah,
Yes, 'cause
Kurtzman
he's
is a
in tight
useful
with-
idiot.
He's in tight with Jenny Lumet, and she's a legacy to Sidney Lumet, or Lumet, if you want to call him that. They've been writing partners since he got on Star Trek. So he basically shifted away from J.J. Abrams and went to Jenny Lumet to kind of coast with her. And unfortunately, she is not her father at all, creatively in any way either. So these two are just kind of banking off their reputation. He'll be around. He'll get a couple other offers and ideas and things out there. He'll kind of fade into the background, but he'll have a show here and there.
I don't know if he will necessarily, because I keep reminding people, unless you know better than I do, Script, that he is not seen in the industry the way we see him.
That's
when he
right.
took
but
Star Trek on, he was taking it on as like, as a favor to CBS, because he's the guy who produced shit like Hawaii Five-0 and all that other kind of shit. So like, he's got all of these other things that he does over here. He got The Mummy because of all the other stuff that he did. It had nothing to do with anything other than that. It's because he knew all the right people and had been doing the grunt work now for years, and that was his supposed to be his. Because notice who else got their first directing thing around the big film at the same time. Another Acolyte, Kimberg. So like my point is like, yeah, it was his graduation present, but he didn't graduate. That was it. He's not going to get any more movies. Same with Kimberg. He's going to be lucky to get any more movies.
Simon Kinberg has a bit more. Yeah, he's got a bit more effort.
A little bit more, but yeah.
Kurtzman is coasting right now. And yeah, it's true. Like the vast, well, I would say this, a lot of people outside of Paramount are not really too interested in Alex Kurtzman.
But in television, he'll always have a career in television.
Relatively so, yeah. Well, he's got it in with like CBS. Like they like him because he knows how to get some things done. He knows how to network things. But again, he's not. I'll put it to you this way. He wishes he could have been like Ronald D. Moore or Brennan Braga or Rick Berman
or Taylor Sheridan, even
who are like legacies in the 90s. He's not going to have that. And if anything, he's just going to kind of whittle away to where he is. He has attached his name. Yeah, he attached his name to Hawaii Five-0. He also tried to attach it to the Magnum PI reboot and the MacGyver reboot and a couple of others. He's kind of more on the passive side of things now. The only thing active that he does is Star Trek. And once that's done, he'll probably be relegated back to passive stuff until he can find a hit show, which will allow him to get back in front of the line again.
Yeah, he'll remake some other show from the 80s or 70s.
Doing some supernatural cop show or something for CBS that's been in development for like
He's been hovering around Amazon as well. So that's the other thing you guys got to worry about is he's been rumored to be nosing around Stargate.
This is called Far Rockaway, I think, or something. It's been talked about for about 5 or 6 years.
Because there was some
that's got to be similar to like the because J.J. Abrams did a sci-fi cop show with Carl Urban with like an AI partner that kind of came and went, and I think Alex Kurtzman trying to rework that into his own thing.
Okay, it's on it's through
Almost Human. It was called.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
No, Clarice is the one thing in the industry where he actually got
in trouble for that.
Got in trouble because if you go look at all the reviews still for Academy, they're all glowing. Like, and the same thing for all the other Star Trek shows. Clarice was the only time he got dragged through the mud, and it was hilarious reading like the Entertainment Weekly review, and I can't remember if it was the Variety or Hollywood Reporter review. We're going, Jesus, we could have wrote these sons of bitches. They just took him down with that. But other than that, he never had gotten that kind of
studios. That's the other part, right? So if the trades are lauding someone, usually the studios are kind of mixed on that regard because the trades don't speak for the studios. That's the thing. They
but I'm just saying that's the only time he's ever been publicly raked over the coals. That's my point. And not compared to what we do. Like we've been ones pointing at him going, him, he's the guy. He's the one who's the problem, for years. Yeah. So, but I hope he doesn't have anything to do with Stargate. I just know the rumors were he was hovering around Amazon. But with that, Andre, we are caught up. Let me double check the Rumble side of things just to be sure. But yes, we are good there as well. And I thank everybody out there in the chat who sent all the super chats and the mods for all your help as usual. Script Doctor, you got scripts on Saturdays? Anything else you want to plug besides that?
I've got my Script Doctor Arcade channel where I've been playing some retro games and stuff there. So head on over to that one. I've actually almost got my watch hours up for monetization. I just need the subscriber count to hit 500, and then that could be a monetized channel. So yeah, if you're interested in watching me get my butt kicked in a bunch of games, or me just kicking the butt out of some older games and funny reactions, head on over there if you like. Otherwise, we got Scripts on Saturdays. This Saturday is where, and for people that have followed me for a while, we get to read a Caroline Dries script, and the Caroline Dries was the showrunner to Batwoman. So we're going to see how much, if this is actually a well-written script or a turd. So tune into that show this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Excellent. Chris, what you got going on?
Just trying to keep things in order over at Bleeding Fool. We've got that story about Sophie Turner and Waller Bridges team up to sink Tomb Raider. A little bit of info on that long forgotten Olivia Wilde Spider-Woman movie that is officially canceled, and now Sony is reportedly open to sharing the characters from their Spider-Man-less Spider-Verse with Marvel. So we'll see how that goes over at Bleeding.
Imagine that.
I know. Guess Kraven the Hunter and Morbius just didn't quite, or Madam Web. I mean, yeah, the list goes on.
Yeah,
Well, we
Man
said when-
Web would be a big one, but yeah.
We had said that when Rothman said, "Yeah, enough's enough." But that was it. We're done. He's
We
not
kind
gonna
of
fuck around no
explored
more.
too in that article, which is above the fold there. Sort of all the little weird things that Sony did to tease Spider-Man fans with their movie, like seeing him graffiti on the wall in a trailer from Morbius, or bringing the Vulture in at the end of one of them, even though Spider-Man wasn't in that universe, or
It
Venom.
was a try.
It was, I don't know. They were just blowing smoke up people's asses.
You got to give
And they should have
Rothman
handled it.
credit.
Yeah.
You got to give Rothman credit. And I predicted, and we'll see if it still comes to pass. I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 years there's some deal between Sony and Disney just to buy Spider-Man back.
Might as well. Yeah.
And what'll happen is they'll just make some deal, and Sony will get some kickback for like the next few Spider-Verse movies, and that'll be it.
I'm
They'll get,
working on
like-
something else you're going to like, Tom. I'll share it with you over the weekend if I can, but it's coming on Monday that the first thing you're going to say is, "That's what I've been saying all along." You're going to do that. I know.
Well, and I just think it
Sony's got
makes the
2 more
most
years
sense.
to make another Spider-Man-less Spider-Man film if they want to retain the character rights. So
Well, not just that, it makes the most sense for everybody. And Tom Rothman's the only president I could see who would be like, you know what? We're better off just taking a payday now and getting some back end deals with future Spider-Man movies, since
Yeah.
Disney's pretty much making the movies for us anyway at this point. I mean, is it really worth them keeping it around? And Tom Rothman has zero interest in this shit. He's said that many a time publicly. We were like one of the first people to report on that. So anyway, that being said, Andre, get us out of here.
Yeah, let's bring on the koalas in the rain.
See you guys.
Rain time.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain. No fucks given. Koala, koala. Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain. No fucks given.